Because Kevin Spacey was in it.
Yes, it's like 6 degrees of separation. Everything goes back to these damn creepazoids. Kevin Spacey is a huge perv, so then they have to get Christopher Plummer to step in for him. They obviously have to pay Christopher Plummer because he's not reshooting, he's just being in the movie. But Michelle Williams, who's the co-star, was paid less than $1,000 for her reshoot. Mark Wahlberg was paid $1.5 million. So now there's a big thing about, we just gave this whole award show about equality, and now we're not practicing.
Grace,
what
I
we
have two
preach.
words for you: glass ceiling.
Why did she agree to reshoot for such little money?
I don't know. She says that
I think I got paid more than that to be in a civil action, and I was working for scale.
I mean, she said that Ridley Scott, who was the director, made it seem like everyone was doing it for free, basically, because he gave an interview with USA Today.
She needs a new agent, is what she needs.
That's the scary part, is that her agency is the same as Mark Wahlberg's.
Oh, now she definitely needs a new agency. She needs to sue the agent that she already has.
So Ridley Scott said the whole reshoot was, in normal terms, was expensive, but not as expensive as you think, because all of them, everyone did it for nothing. USA Today says, really? He says, no, I wouldn't get paid. I refuse to get paid. He said, you didn't pay the actors more to do it? He said, they all came free. Christopher had to get paid, but Michelle, no. Me, no. I wouldn't do that. The crew, of course, got paid. And then it came out that Mark Wahlberg, who apparently...
How'd they find out?
They found out... Well, they're both represented by William Morris Endeavor Agency, and I actually, it doesn't say how they found out.
Mark Wahlberg was probably like, yo, I got $1.5 million to reshoot some scenes. Thanks, Kevin Spacey.
I know. And you know what? The movie's not doing well. I mean, it's doing well critically, but it's not doing well at the box office. It's not making that much money, and it costs
Who cares
a lot
how
of
it does critically? There's only one thing matters. B.O.
I know. They're probably really happy that she took no money for it, because they're like, damn, thank God. We couldn't afford it. And lastly, let's go to James Franco. So he won a Golden Globe for his movie, The Disaster Artist, which is, if you haven't seen it, it's really good. And he got a lot of heat on Twitter because women are claiming that he shouldn't even be allowed in. He's part of the problem. He's a sexual assaulter. So Stephen Colbert, I mean, according to like 3 people on Twitter, which again, I say, who knows? But
do you believe? Who do you believe?
Well, I'm gonna play the clip first of him defending himself, and then we can talk about it.
Okay, first of all, I have no idea what I did to Ali Sheedy. I directed her in a play off Broadway. I had nothing but a great time with her. Total respect for her. I have no idea why she was upset. She took the tweet down. I don't know. Mm-hmm.
I hate to say this, but I believe James Franco. Am I a bad woman? Is this bad for my rep?
No, I'm just amused by it. That you're not.
I'm gonna get pummeled on the text line.
You're not towing the line. Probably they'll have something to say on the chump line too. 844-500-4242. Press 2 for chump line. I'm Howie Carr.
It's been wisely said that if you're not catching flack, you're not over the target. Well, based on all the attacks against vinyl that we've been hearing lately, it looks like we here at Matthews Brothers must have put someone's nose out of joint. In our 164-year history, we've never felt it necessary to disparage our competitors' reputation, product, or quality. We believe all 3 of those speak for themselves, and at the end of the day, most folks can tell the difference between horse sense and nonsense. We believe that independent testing labs do a far better job of evaluating windows and doors than some in-house test designed to demonstrate a meaningless advantage. We believe that the more real information, the more real science that an architect, a builder, or a homeowner has, the more confidently they can make a buying decision. We believe so strongly, in fact, that we proudly and boldly display more thermal test data on our window labels than nearly every other window manufacturer in the country. Why? Because real science is important. You can learn more about our wicked awesome made windows and how we're making the window industry great again, but only at Better Lumberyards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with 1 T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
And now Grace gets to know Howie a little better.
What on earth drew you to pugs as dogs?
My kids liked the pugs because they were cute. So we bought the pugs, and I like them too. They're not as smart as earlier breeds, other breeds that I've owned, like Shetland sheepdogs or poodles. They're not nearly as smart, but those are like exceptionally intelligent dogs. Pugs are just sort of below average in everything except amiability, and that's very important, though. I think that's the most important thing in a dog.
Who is your idol in the radio business?
Jerry Williams. He was the guy I grew up listening to, and he was just a master. He would if he had been born 30 years later, he would have been Rush Limbaugh.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. When I woke up, I couldn't speak or walk.
145 over 92, and then I had a heart attack.
182 over 100, and I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest, and then a stroke. Everything changed. It felt like my life was over.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a heart attack or stroke are far from invisible or silent.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke. If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
180 over 110, and I had a stroke. And I'm 33, so I never see this coming.
If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it, or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Head to toe, everything's changed. Head to toe.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
The Howie Carr Show continues next.
And now one of Howie's biggest fans.
Some of the hats were crocheted, you ignorant Republican. It's pronounced creme de la creme, you stupid Republican. He's 12 years older than me. I wish he'd learn how to speak English. He's 12 years older than I, because you would say he's 12 years older than I am. You wouldn't say he's 12 years older than me am. I wish you would learn English. Go to Mexico, learn English, then climb over this wall that's not going to be built and paid for. Bye. Have you tried the Donald Trump sandwich yet? It's bologna with Russian dressing, a tiny pickle on white. Do you really think everyone of voting age has a driver's license? That shows what an idiot you are. Do you think somebody 97 who wants to vote has a driver's license? You're an idiot. You're the biggest idiot.
And now, a bunch of random facts with Grace.
The male ostrich can roar just like a lion. Earth is the only planet that is not named after a god. Human thigh bones are stronger than concrete. Hamsters run up to 8 miles at night on a wheel. In New York, it is illegal to sell a haunted house without telling the buyer. Ooh. The word gorilla is derived from a Greek word meaning a tribe of hairy women. The tongue of a blue whale weighs more than most elephants. A jiffy is the scientific name for 1/100th of a second. Blue-eyed people tend to have the highest tolerance of alcohol. More than 50% of the people in the world have never made or received a phone call. Beetles taste like apples, wasps like pine nuts, and worms like fried bacon. There are no clocks in Las Vegas gambling casinos.
This has been a bunch of random facts with Grace. Check out Grace's latest posts, pictures, and blogs at HowieCarrshow.com.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
And now one of Howie's biggest fans.
Some of the hats were crocheted, you ignorant Republican. It's pronounced creme de la creme, you stupid Republican. He's 12 years older than me. I wish he'd learn how to speak English. He's 12 years older than I, because you would say he's 12 years older than I am. You wouldn't say he's 12 years older than me am. I wish you would learn English. Go to Mexico, learn English, then climb over this wall that's not going to be built and paid for. Bye. Have you tried the Donald Trump sandwich yet? It's bologna with Russian dressing, a tiny pickle on white. Do you really think everyone of voting age has a driver's license? That shows what an idiot you are. Do you think somebody 97 who wants to vote has a driver's license? You're an idiot. You're the biggest idiot.
And now, a bunch of random facts with Grace.
The male ostrich can roar just like a lion. Earth is the only planet that is not named after a god. Human thigh bones are stronger than concrete. Hamsters run up to 8 miles at night on a wheel. In New York, it is illegal to sell a haunted house without telling the buyer. Ooh. The word gorilla is derived from a Greek word meaning a tribe of hairy women. The tongue of a blue whale weighs more than most elephants. A jiffy is the scientific name for 1/100th of a second. Blue-eyed people tend to have the highest tolerance of alcohol. More than 50% of the people in the world have never made or received a phone call. Beetles taste like apples, wasps like pine nuts, and worms like fried bacon. There are no clocks in Las Vegas gambling casinos.
This has been a bunch of random facts with Grace. Check out Grace's latest posts, pictures, and blogs at HowieCarrshow.com.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation.
I am so sick and tired of these crooked moonbat judges. First, we have members of the unelected judiciary trying to stop President Trump's travel ban. The Supreme Court sided with Trump. Now we've got U.S. District Court Judge William Alsup in San Francisco. This left-wing nut has ruled that the president can't rescind DACA. That's right, an unelected judge thinks he can stop Trump from terminating an order that even Barack Obama said 22 times was unconstitutional.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
One of the most famous men in New England.
Conservative radio host Howie Carr.
The legendary Howie.
Who do you love?
We love Howie Carr.
Howie Carr.
Howie Carr.
We love you, Howie.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
You know, it's hard to get that worked up over something that happens in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. But, I mean, think about it. Obama said this order, this executive order, was unconstitutional. 22 times. He did. Boehner put together a loop of him saying it over and over again, that it was unconstitutional. I'd like to help all you gangbangers, but, you know, it's just not possible. I don't have the authority to do it. And then he did it. So Trump just rescinds an unconstitutional order, and now the judge says, I'm going to stop you from rescinding an unconstitutional order because it might affect some poor criminals who are in the United States. Who is this guy? William Haskell Alsup. Is Eddie Haskell this guy's uncle? He's 72. I thought you had to retire when you were a federal at the age of 70. I guess he's on senior status. All the judges now are on senior status, I guess. Okay, so this sums it all up, Steve. He has a Master of Public Policy from Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government, also known as Camelot High. That's where I taught, one semester. Actually, 5 weeks, but it was 5 weeks. I am a professor emeritus at Harvard University. You can just say that. He was nominated by Bill Clinton. Oh, okay. Bill Clinton. Great. Bill Alsop. So, President Trump today, he had a cabinet meeting. They had the reporters in before the cabinet meeting. It wasn't totally covered by the media the way the meeting with the congressional leaders was covered yesterday. But before he threw the press out, he did make a few remarks, didn't take any questions, but he said he got tremendous reviews on his meeting with the congressional leaders on DACA yesterday.
Good morning and welcome to our first cabinet meeting of the new year. 2017 was a year of tremendous achievement, monumental achievement, actually. I don't think any administration has done what we've done and what we've accomplished in its first year, which isn't quite finished yet. You never know what's going to happen over the next few days.
You'll notice no one is accusing me of misquoting President Trump when I was working as a leg man over Christmas for the Washington Post in Mar-a-Lago, because that's exactly what he told me. The best year ever, the best first year ever for a U.S. president. And then I thought to myself, do I really want to? Is that what he really said? Did he mean that? So I went up. So when I saw him, I was leaving. I said, "You sure you want me to say it was the best year ever, or do you want me to say it was one of the best years ever?" No, Howie, the best year ever.
All the time you spent talking to Trump, and you think that you really need to double check that one. He's known for his carefully crafted, very not overstating things.
I don't know. I know we live in a new world of journalism, but I still have this remnant of the old days of journalism. You want to get the quote correct if at all possible. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, I'm concerned about that meeting. One of the things that as I watched it again last night, they replayed it over and over again on the cable newscast, as you know. And I heard him, when he responded to Dianne Feinstein, and he didn't know what she meant by a clean DACA bill. He didn't realize that clean is a euphemism. No, I strike that euphemism. It's a dog whistle. Clean DACA bill is a dog whistle for total unconditional amnesty. And then let all of their families in to go on welfare, and then let all of their families, babysitters and neighbors and lawn cutters come into the country, and they all go on welfare. And he didn't understand what she meant. Kevin McCarthy from California, the majority leader, had to prevent him from really getting on board with a clean amnesty proposal. But Rush Limbaugh says, don't worry about it. I hope Rush is right about that today, and I'm trying to put the best face on it. I wanted to tell you before we go down to some of the new stories about some of these lovely newcomers to our land and how they're only doing the jobs that Americans won't do, like attacking a Meals on Wheels volunteer in Burlington, Vermont with a machete. Okay? I tweeted this one out, but somebody mentioned that I haven't mentioned. Somebody told me I hadn't mentioned it on the air, and I should have mentioned it. A 73-year-old Meals on Wheels volunteer was dropping off meals on the regular route, and 32-year-old Howie Carr Ibrahim. Yes, he's one of the Ibrahims of Burlington. Yes, it's an old family. Yes, they were in the Green Mountain Boys way back when with General Ethan Allen. No, he's from Somalia. He's not, they call him a Burlington man, but he's actually Somali man, Mogadishu man. He attacked the woman who sustained multiple injuries. She was sent to the hospital and later released. He barricaded himself in the room After about 2.5 hours, he came out on his own. Isn't that nice? Just a newcomer to our land. But anyway, there was a story I saw today. Switzerland has a problem, like every civilized country. They have a problem with these savages coming into the country and demanding to be taken care of and committing all sorts of heinous crimes. And so Switzerland has a new law in effect, and the reason I mention this is because this law, if it were on the books in the United States, it would solve the whole DACA problem for us. I'll read this to you. A new Civil Rights Act has come into force in Switzerland that prevents residents who have been on welfare in the past 3 years from becoming citizens unless they pay back the money they received to the state. If you had that law in the books, do you know how many DACA dreamers would be able to become citizens? Well, maybe not zero.
I'm sure there's got to be one valedictorian who could pay it back, right?
Again, according to a study by a researcher for Harvard University, 73% of the dreamers live in welfare households. 17% would become immediately eligible for Medicaid. And Steve was saying before the show that we obsess, most of us, about EBT cards and food stamps. But that's because we see it all the time when we go to the supermarket. The fact is, a lot of there's more expenses elsewhere, like, for instance, dental offices, but we're not in the dentist's office every day. But we are in the supermarkets all the time. So anyway, back to Switzerland. The new regulations will make it impossible for asylum seekers and migrants who have lived off state handouts in the last 3 years to become citizens, even if they have lived as permanent residents for the required time to make a citizenship application. Last year, the city of Zurich voted to dramatically cut benefits, also known as welfare, to failed asylum seekers who were in the so-called F status, in which they cannot be deported. Many of the migrants entering Switzerland have also come without any form of identification. Stop me if you've heard this one before, making it even more difficult to process their asylum claim or deport those not approved for asylum status. So I'm all in favor of this. If you're coming into the country and you have skills and you're going to add something to the gross national product, if you can support yourself, if you can sign documents saying you will never become a ward of the state, I wouldn't even mind you bringing your parents in if they're not going to end up on SSI in a couple of weeks, which is what happens so often here. But we have these. Here's another one. You want some more? Another dreamer in the news. A Lawrence man was sentenced to a minimum of 6 years in New Hampshire State Prison on a charge relating to the trafficking of fentanyl in Manchester, New Hampshire. Luciano Vasquez, 35, pleaded guilty in Hillsborough County Superior Court North last week to possession of 40 grams of fentanyl with intent to sell. Remember Governor Sununu took all that grief last year? He said all the heroin was coming into New Hampshire from Lawrence, Massachusetts, and they said he was a racist for saying that. Has the Boston Globe apologized to Governor Sununu? Here's the story. Lawrence, Mass. man. 844-500-4242. Joe, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Joe.
Yes, Howie. This on the judge that interfered with our great presidents to end DACA. Now, I'm going to slap him with a saying that Obama was saying to Trump when Trump was campaigning for our president. Obama would say, "Hey, wait a minute, there's only one president at a time."
Yeah.
Okay, so this judge here, golly, who died and made him president?
Right. Well, I thought you were going to give me another quote of Obama's, and I think it's even more apropos. Elections have consequences, Joe. You know,
There
if
you
you
go.
if you want the all the illegal aliens to stay in the country, the people should have elected Hillary Clinton, but they didn't, did they, Joe?
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. 844-500-4242. We're going to take a lot of calls in the next segment. I'm Howie Carr. This half hour of the Howie Carr Show is powered by the Car Guys. Purchasing a pre-owned car can be tricky, but not if you go through Bill Papa George. He is the absolute best in the business. Both Grace and I use the Car Guys, and recently my daughter Charlotte got a car from the Car Guys. Call 800-300-4600. That's 800-300-4600.
Howie Carr.
Howie's having a birthday party, and you're invited. Next Wednesday, January 17th, the captain turns another year older, and we're throwing him a huge party. It'll be here at the Howie Carr Studios, which means you'll get to see the show happen live. And yes, there'll be a big Chinese food spread and plenty of cake. Get your tickets to Howie Carr's big birthday party at HowieCarShow.com. Click store. Every attendee to Howie's birthday party will get a loaded gift bag. You don't want to miss Howie Carr's birthday party. Get tickets at info@HowieCarShow.com. Click store.
In Elizabeth Warren's new year, taxpayers pay more for bloated government. Criminal illegal immigrants get to stay, and our borders remain unsecure. Let's have new leadership for the new year. Jeff Deal has a proven record of saving money for Massachusetts taxpayers. Jeff Deal is the only candidate who has fought against sanctuary cities, and he supports building the wall. It's time for the real deal for Massachusetts.
I'm Jeff Deal, and I approve this message.
Paid for and authorized by Deal for U.S. Senate.
There's been a whole lot of talk these days about fake news, as if it's some brand new invention. Well, listen up, sister. For 164 years, we here at Matthews Brothers have been in the window business, an industry some argue gave birth to fake news. So we've been dealing with this stuff since Abe Lincoln was wearing short pants. Lately, we've been hearing a whole lot of fake news about this amazing new window material called fiberglass, reporting on how much stronger and more durable it is when compared to vinyl. It's enough to scare you silly. The real news is, even though fiberglass and vinyl have been used for making residential windows for nearly the same amount of time, architects, builders, and homeowners have overwhelmingly chosen vinyl over fiberglass by a factor of 14 to 1. So you have to wonder, what is it about vinyl that makes it so popular? Why does vinyl have 71% market share and fiberglass only 6%? Could it be there's something about those fiberglass windows they're not telling us? Would that qualify as fake news? You can learn the real news about our wicked awesome Maine-made windows, but only at Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with 1 T. America's oldest window manufacturer.
We heard about all the great benefits of goat milk soap. But did you know? Some companies take shortcuts. At Old New England Soap, we make our organic goat's milk soap using 36% goat's milk. That's 17% more than most others. Our bars are larger, so they last longer, producing lots of lather packed with vitamins. And our soap is a natural moisturizer that smooths dry and damaged skin. Order online at oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. You've tried the rest. Now try the best. oldnesoap.com.
Water-based soaps on supermarket shelves use harsh chemical acids to break down dead skin cells. And that's just not good for you. At Old New England Soap, our soaps are made without chemical ingredients, contain no alcohol or petroleum products, and use 85% organic materials and carry the USDA's organic certification. Try some today. Go to oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. oldnesoap.com.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
This
is Mike in Springfield, Vermont.
This is Kathleen from Worcester, Massachusetts.
Hey, this is John in Somers, Connecticut, and you're listening to The Howie Carr Show.
Sometimes we just read a compendium of press releases from the U.S. Attorney's offices in New England, where we're based. Just read you a few here, just the headlines. This is just the last week. Massachusetts, Boston, Dominican national sentenced for passport fraud. Massachusetts, Dominican national sentenced for passport fraud. It's a different one. Boston again, Salvadorian national sentenced for illegal reentry after deportation. Dominican national sentenced for drug conspiracy. Here's New Hampshire, citizen of Ecuador sentenced to 18 months for passport fraud. Connecticut, Nigerian national admits role in business email compromise scheme.
Wait, was that the Nigerian prince?
They're all princes. When you get arrested for an email compromise scheme, that means you're in the royal family of Nigeria. The Nigerian fraud is so much easier now. They don't have to do the letters anymore. Now they can just do it online. 844-500-4242. Chris, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Chris.
Hi, Howie. I'm from Laconia, New Hampshire area, and I'm a nurse in the area. And I deal with the public and see abuse from the undocumented and the ones who come over that are sponsored by family members with medical and medical equipment. They get it, they don't follow the compliances, and then we try to get them compliant or get the equipment back, and they tell me that it's theirs to keep, and it's my job that I need to make sure they keep it and do whatever I need to do. It's an abuse of our dollars, our tax dollars.
And you're in Laconia. I mean, that's pretty far up in the mountains, you know? I mean, that's not down on the Massachusetts border just across the river from Lawrence, you know? I mean, if you have illegal aliens in Laconia, New Hampshire, again, it's another indication that every state, every city and town and little villages now has an immigration problem.
Yes, we do, and I see it all the time, and I can't do anything about it. I just have to do my job, but it really bothers me because I'm working to put money in for my retirement and support myself and my family, and these people are abusing it and misusing it.
And can you believe that the Democrats are willing to shut down the government to protect these people, Chris?
I have a problem with that. If they want to become citizens, they need to come in the right way, and they need to do it and be vested and show that they want to be citizens. You know, I mean, I believe that if somebody came in under DACA and they served the military and they're discharged with an honorable discharge, then that should give them the access to become a citizen right away.
Right.
But
right.
I don't believe any other way.
Right. They keep saying, well, there's 900 of these dreamers are in the military. Okay, you know what I say? We'll take care of those 900. It's the other 799,100 that we need to deport immediately. Thanks for the call, Chris. Center for Immigration Studies, CIS. We have some of their staffers on. Jessica Vaughn, Mark Krikorian. They have a new study out today. Non-citizens committed a disproportionate share of federal crimes 2011 through 16. Not a surprise, but here are some of the numbers. 8.4% of the population are non-citizens right now in the United States. But they commit 42%, they represent 42% of kidnapping convictions, 32% of drug convictions, 23% of money laundering convictions. There's those Nigerians in Connecticut. 13.5% of administration of justice offenses, witness tampering, obstruction, contempt. 18% of economic crimes, fraud, embezzlement, larceny. 13% of other convictions, bribery, environmental prison offenses. 13% of auto thefts.
Wait, they commit more environmental crimes, Howie?
Yes.
We might find some common ground with the Democrats on that one.
Does Tom Steyer know? Has someone got Tom Steyer's phone number? I'd like to give him a call. They killed it. Tom, Tom, an illegal alien killed a polar bear. A snail darter won't be coming down for breakfast, Tom, because of one of your friends, one of the undocumented Democrats. Debbie, you're next. Oh, no, Dinah, you're next with Howie Carr. Oh, we don't have time. We're out of time. We'll take some more calls when we come back. Hang on, everybody. 844-500-4242. We will be right back. I'm Howie Carr. Let's be honest, hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. It makes you self-conscious, erodes your confidence, and causes you to waste years of your life trying to hide, camouflage, and generally obsess over the condition. In short, it pretty much sucks. Until you call DiStefano Hair Restoration, and they completely turn your life around with an IGT procedure. Whether you are looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, Dr. Chris Heiness and his team at DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. With the DiStefano difference, balding and hair loss are now optional. And no matter where you are in New England, DiStefano Hair Restoration is just a short drive away. Call now and get a free IGT consultation. Plus, financing is available with payments as low as $119 a month. Just call 1-800-858-HAIR to learn more. That's 1-800-858-HAIR. Or just visit hairman.com.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace, learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you will feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org. Because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council. When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org. Because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
And now, 6 fun facts in 60 seconds with Grace Curley.
In 1999, the U.S. government paid the Zapruder family $16 million for the film of JFK's assassination. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know, but on average, a licking machine made at Purdue needed 364. Famed ice cream makers Ben & Jerry originally considered getting into the bagel business, but the equipment was too expensive. In 1980, Detroit presented Saddam Hussein with a key to the city. In 1986, iPhone maker Apple launched a clothing line. Between 1900 and 1920, tug of war was an Olympic event.
This has been 6 fun facts with Grace Curley in 60 seconds. Check out Grace's latest posts, pictures, and tweets at HowieCarrShow.com. And now one of Howie's biggest fans.
Approval rating, Obama, 79. Trump, 32. Think about it. You can't please everyone, so you've got to please yourself. You can't please everyone, so you've got to please yourself. Get over it, Howie. At least Obama can spell potato, you fucking asshole. Stupid Republican. Don't pee on me and tell me it's raining. Did I hear right? The information was leaked? Get it? He's gonna drop the bomb and then you might go, yeah, maybe he wasn't the best choice. Yeah, maybe we should have voted for Hillary. Yeah. You can't please everyone, so you've got to please yourself. Don't pee on me and tell me it's raining.
And now Grace gets to know Howie a little better.
Out of all of the interviews on your radio show, which one was the most awkward?
I talked to a guy once from the New York Post who'd written a book, and I interviewed him late in the show at like 6:30, and it was pretty obvious that he'd pulled a Ted Kennedy type day, and he'd been drinking since like 11 o'clock in the morning, and he was talking like this.
Out of all of the books that you've written, which one is your favorite?
My last one is always my favorite. It's like kids. They're all my favorites. But if I had to pick one, it would probably be Hitman.
If you were in a job interview and they asked you what your biggest flaw is, what would you say?
I'm a perfectionist and I just work too darned hard. I know that line.
Celebrating 25 years on the air, this is the Howie Carr Show.
Last month, the DOJ reported that 94% of the non-citizens in the Bureau of Prisons, in other words, doing federal time, are illegal aliens. 94%. I guess that's not that surprising, but there it is. Report. At least 1 in 7 DACA illegal aliens would end up on Medicaid following amnesty. That's from the CBO. 844-500-4242. Are you concerned about President Trump's statements yesterday? Do you think he's going to fold? I don't know why we're going to have amnesty for the DACA recipients under any circumstances. And it's not only President Trump. I mean, I said it yesterday, Senator Grassley from Iowa, who is, I think, a great senator. He's doing a really good job on this DOJ, FBI corruption investigation, despite Dianne Feinstein, his ranking minority member, trying to leak documents to impede the investigation. He said, if we don't do something about these dreamers, we'll have to answer. And I said yesterday, answer to who? What about the Americans? Don't American young people have dreams? And by the way, when you're 37, 40 years old, are you still a kid? Or is it only dreamers who are 40 years old get to call themselves kids? And they're going to college. Oh, that's great. Are they? How much are they paying to go to college, by the way? Or are they getting? Is that free, like their housing and their food and their medical care, like everything else? Dinah, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Dinah.
Hi, Howie. I've been dying to tell you this story since it happened. I've never called before. My mother-in-law is a Kennedy Democrat. She probably would be a Republican if she actually paid attention to what was going on.
Right.
But she's still back in that day. So she went into the hospital. She was at Salem Hospital. And we went to visit her, me and my husband. And we were sitting beside her. And she was looking at the CNAs coming in. And she's like, you know, Ed, I love you, but I hate your politics. Would you really want to do their job? And I leaned forward and I said, I think you forget I've been doing this job for 20 years and I've helped support my family by doing this job for 20 years. You don't have to be an immigrant to do this job.
Right.
You know, but you can't, it's just perpetuating this racist liberal atmosphere where only, and they're more racist than we are.
Right. Have you been following this thing with Ajit Pai, the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission? He's the one who, he spearheaded doing away with net neutrality for the FCC. And these great liberals are going to his house and they're trespassing on his front yard and taking pictures of his 5-year-old and his 3-year-old kid. and they're posting on online that he's a pedophile and that he's a dirty, sneaky Indian, and they're making all these racist attacks on him just because he has put the internet back to the way it was in 2015. And it's amazing. These people are total racists that are doing this, and they're all moonbat liberals, and most of them, Dinah, are millennials on top of that. But it's okay for them to talk about this Indian and make all these racist comments about him because he's a Republican.
I mean, he was born in Kansas.
That's the thing. Why don't you go back to where you were born? Topeka?
I just have to tell you,
I've
been working in the nursing industry for a long time, for 26 years all told. And I work with a lot of people from other countries. And honestly, there are some that love this country. And actually, I had a woman who said she wanted to be buried with a flag over her coffin, an American flag. Mm-hmm. She was so supportive of our country. Then I had another one who, when I had a veteran pass away and he had a flag in his room, threw it in the trash. I almost got fired that day because I pulled it out and I shut the door and I said, if you ever disrespect this country in front of me again, I will punch you square in the teeth. And
my takeaway from talking to legal aliens is that they're more angry about what's going on than illegal aliens, and you just hear it over and over again from people, especially if they had to spend a lot of money, or they married somebody who was an alien and they had to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to go through the rings that they run you through to get into the country illegally. And then you have these so-called dreamers are just demanding that they be extended every benefit of a citizen. And I don't get it. And you know damn well that if they they keep talking about, well, we have to end chain migration. As soon as these people are legalized, they're going to demand that their parents also be naturalized or normalized or legalized, whatever phrase you want to use. Thanks for the call, Dinah. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back with somebody from ICE. I'm Howie Carr. This half hour of the Howie Carr Show is powered by CarShield. Sooner or later, your car will break down. Getting extended coverage from CarShield could save you thousands. Get protected today before it's too late. Call 800-CAR-6100 or go to carshield.com and use code Howie to save 10%. A deductible may apply.
Howie Carr.
Are you struggling with addiction? Is a person you love struggling with addiction? Is it time to get help? St. Jude Retreats have a proven non-12-step program that empowers you to achieve permanent results for your substance use problems. Don't get trapped in lifelong recovery or addiction. With locations just a short drive from anywhere in New England, St. Jude's is ready to help you leave addiction and recovery behind you forever. Visit SoberForever.net today. That's SoberForever.net or call 888-988-1336.
Are you looking for a pre-owned car? Well, before you go to the dealership where you'll be pounced on by pushy salespeople, give the Car Guys a try. I'm Bill Papageorge, and my job is to make finding the perfect used car as easy as possible. That means I do all of the tough legwork for you. Once I figure out what you want out of a car, I go find it. I've been in this business for a long time, and I know what to look out for. I won't bring you a car unless I know it will meet or exceed your expectations. So give me a call at 800-300-4600. That is 800-300-4600.
And now, a bunch of random facts with Grace.
Donald Duck comics were banned from Finland because he doesn't wear pants. Pirates wore earrings because they believed it improved their eyesight. Cockroaches can live for several weeks with their heads cut off because their brains are located inside their body. More than 60,000 people are flying over the United States in an airplane right now. A church in the Czech Republic has a chandelier made entirely of human bones. Ooh. Our eyes are always the same size from birth, but our nose and ears never stop growing. The elephant is the only animal that can't jump. ATMs were originally thought to be failures because the only users were prostitutes and gamblers who didn't want to deal with tellers face to face. It takes about 3,000 cows to supply enough leather for the NFL for only 1 year.
This has been a bunch of random facts with Grace. Check out Grace's latest posts, pictures, and blogs at HowieCarShow.com. We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
I say, hey, wait a minute. He didn't leave the country. He wasn't out of the country. Michael Cohen of the Trump Organization was in Prague. It turned out to be a different Michael Cohen. Sure. It's a disgrace what took place. It's a disgrace. And I think they ought to apologize to start with Michael Cohen.
Sir, since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? Mr. President-elect. Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization.
You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you state, Mr. President-elect, can you state categorically, Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question? You're attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not appropriate.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
So you're giving up? Just like that?
Giving up on what?
On getting an inheritance from a distant relative.
Don't you think if there were a billionaire in the family, we'd know about it by now?
Listen to me. We are one phone call away from riding horses on our own private polo grounds. One call from christening yachts, having a butler, using summer as a verb.
How do you figure?
Look, everyone's got a rich uncle somewhere. It's statistics. So the best thing you can do is just prepare for the inevitable.
Right, which is why I thought maybe it would be smart to take control of my finances. You know, start using a budget, get out of debt, set some retirement goals.
Budgets? Debt? You watch your mouth. Retirement shouldn't be a goal for us. It should be a way of life.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
This is Karen from Billerica, Massachusetts.
This is Adrian in Swanton, Vermont.
This is Miss Susan up in Warner, New Hampshire. And this is the Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. And we do the poll question. We have to do the poll question here before we get to our guest. Today's poll question is powered by Tax-Free Tees. Does your business need custom apparel? Do what I did. Get your custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and apparel at Tax-Free Tees. Visit them online at dowhathowiedid.com. That's dowhathowiedid.com, or call 844-900-4848. That's 944-900-4848. Steve, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Are you worried that President Trump is going to cave to the Democrats on immigration reform?
Not as worried as some other talk show hosts, but yes, I am concerned.
78%.
78%. Okay, joining us now on the line is Thomas Homan. He is the acting director of ICE, which is Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They're in charge to a large degree of border security and fighting illegal alien crime. Thanks for being with us today, Thomas Homan.
Thanks for having me, sir. Appreciate it.
Should we be concerned about some kind of deal that's going to result in amnesty?
Well, look, President Trump has done more for border security and immigration enforcement than any of the 6 presidents I have worked for. So I have total faith in him, and I have total faith in the Secretary of Homeland Security to work with Congress to do the right thing.
So what's the problem with chain migration? Why don't you just tell us about chain migration? The president is always talking about that. I think a lot of our listeners and viewers know that, but tell us what the drawbacks are from letting people bring their relatives and then the relatives bring the relatives into the country.
Look, we're a sovereign country. We have a right to decide who's going to come into this country, and why not base it on skills? And we need nurses. There's certain technical occupations we need help in. So why not pick the best of the best to come to this country? Chain migration has been a problem in this country. It entices further, illegal immigration. It's based on family ties, and you're based on that family ties. What's the justification? I mean, how about the skilled workers that are trying to come to the country that don't have family here? I just think as an industrial country, a great industrial giant, we need to be more concerned about who's entering this country and who we're letting in this country, and whoever comes in this country is going to add to this country. I think it's the right way to go. I think the chain migration, we need to make some significant changes in it, and I think getting rid of the diversity visa lottery, another one. Give someone entering the United States, let them live in the greatest country on earth because you win a lottery. It should be based on who this person is. Can they help this country succeed? Is a need this country has, and let's protect the American worker first.
Why do we have a diversity lottery in the first place?
I have no idea. That's something that's been a pet peeve of mine for a long time. Look, when we have all these different ways to get into this country, this president is the first president to come up and say, "Look, we need to really make sure who's coming to this country. We need to make sure we clear them, do all this sort of social media checks and background checks, and make sure make sure these people aren't a danger to this country." He's the first president ever raised this bar, and of course he's being sued for it, right? I'll say it again. I've been doing this for 34 years, and this president has done more for securing this country and protecting those who live here, the citizens of this country, about these people that want to come in and do us harm, than any of the 6 presidents I work for. I just wish people let him be president for a while and not attack him every day for trying to protect the very citizens that elect him into office.
We're speaking to Thomas Homan. He is the acting ICE director, and he's in charge of trying to do something about this terrible problem that we have. I'm looking at at a release that the White House sent us today about the people who come into the country who are given green cards, and I read that only 1 in 15 immigrants who are given green cards are admitted on the basis of skills. I mean, how can that be? How can it be that only 6% of the immigrants are coming into the country because we need them? I mean, don't we have the right to make the decision who comes into the country rather than the people who just want to come over here and live off the United States of America?
Absolutely, and that's what this president is trying to do. This president is trying to bring in common sense into immigration in this country, and that's why I hear that there's people on the Hill want a clean DACA bill. Look, you can if you got a tire in your car that keeps leaking air, you can keep putting that air in that tire every day, or you can fix that tire. So if we're going to have a discussion about DACA, and we're going to discuss, let's fix the underlying problems that drive illegal immigration. Because if we don't, in 10 years from now, we're going to be talking about the next DACA people or the next amnesty people. Let's fix the holes in the system. Let's talk about real border security. Let's talk about a wall. Let's talk about sanctuary cities who do not allow the men and women that work for me the opportunity to arrest somebody in a county jail. They have to put their own lives at risk and go arrest them in the neighborhoods or at their homes. And in sanctuary cities, it does nothing but entice more illegal immigration. It bankrolls a very criminal organization that smuggle people in the United States. If you don't think these smuggling organizations are using sanctuary cities as a selling ploy, they're crazy. It just puts my office at risk. It puts the community at risk. It entices more illegal immigration, and it bankrolls a very criminal organizations that have killed Border Patrol agents and special agents. This president is taking interior enforcement serious. Interior enforcement has to be a part of border security. If there's no meaningful interior enforcement, then you don't have any border security.
What are you doing about, Mr. Holman? What are you doing about places like California, the largest state in the United States? I think over 50 million people live there now. It's a sanctuary state. How does ICE operate in a sanctuary state or a city?
Well, look. There's no sanctuary from federal law enforcement. They can call themselves a sanctuary state all they want, but ICE is going to be there. And what I said last week, which I'm taking a lot of hate for and a lot of threats, is I'm increasing the ICE presence in California. If I can't send one officer into a county jail to process 7 or 8 criminal aliens in their custody, they're going to release them to the street, which means I got to send more resources to that city to go find these people at their homes or at their place of business, out in the street, where they have access to who knows what weapons. So what sanctuary cities, what California has done, is put my officers at great risk. These are men and women that strap a gun to their hip every day and leave the safety and security of their homes to protect the nation and protect the communities, protect people they'll never meet. And they just ratcheted up the officer safety threat by now making my people, rather than taking custody of a criminal inside of a jail, now we got to go find that criminal.
Can you grab threat. Like if you have another situation in San Francisco, like that guy from Mexico, who killed Kate Steinle, 5-time deported heroin dealer from Mexico. Can you grab a guy like that now, or are they still just continuing to just release them back out into the community to commit more crimes?
They're released in San Francisco. They're releasing them. Look, there are some sanctuary cities worse than others. Let's talk about Cook County, Chicago. Right, Chicago has the highest crime rate that city's ever experienced in the last couple of years. Are they doing everything they can to protect the citizens, their communities? No, because of that percentage, whatever that percentage is of those criminals that are illegally in the United States, my officers aren't allowed to access Cook County Jail. They don't notify us when they release them. These people get right back into the community to reoffend. And anybody on your show can Google recidivism rates, and if you look at the criminal recidivism rates, over half of these people will reoffend the first year. 75% will reoffend within 5 years. So is Cook County doing everything they can to protect the citizens? No, because there's a certain percentage of that population they could turn over to me and not only remove them from the community, remove them from the country.
Well, we're speaking to Thomas Homan. He's the acting director of ICE. Well, you know what the advocates say, Thomas Homan. They say, well, if we do this, we'll lose the cooperation of the community.
Well, let me tell you something. That is the biggest farce. The immigrant criminals victimize the very communities they live in. These immigrant communities, they don't want child molesters and someone that's been arrested 10 times for DUI in their neighborhoods either. And look, it won't affect. We don't. Do we find victims and witnesses? If someone's a victim or a witness of a crime, they should feel free to go to law enforcement, because the only people we're finding in the jails are the people that law enforcement fingerprint. So unless a law enforcement agency is in the practice of fingerprinting victims and witnesses, we would never even know they exist. So that's a big farce. We need to protect all the communities, including the immigrant communities, illegal immigrants. They're victimized by these very criminal organizations like the MS-13. They victimize the very communities they live in, which is the El Salvadoran and Latino community. Yeah. So I'm not buying it for a minute. This is just more smoke and mirrors by the advocates that want open borders.
How about those horrific crimes that they commit on Long Island, MS-13, and down in suburban Washington D.C.? The Washington Post, the New York Times are loath to report that these people that are doing these crimes are illegal aliens. They're just
the most vicious gang in the world, and that's why ICE has made them a number one priority.
It's always a Silver Spring, man.
Arrests by over 800%, and we're going to keep going.
Yeah, and as you know, in Massachusetts, they had a case here. They had a poster boy for illegal aliens, and they were going to release this guy. They couldn't hold him. He was a Cambodian, and our state Supreme Court said he had to be cut loose because Cambodia wouldn't accept him back. You know what happened? Thomas Homan, he was let go, this illegal alien from Cambodia, a career criminal, a junkie, and as soon as the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts made him the poster boy for letting illegal aliens go and not be picked up by ICE, he went out and he attacked an elderly woman in a wheelchair and stole $2,500 cash from her.
Well, again, President Trump is taking this very seriously too. When he got in office, I think we had 24 countries that were refusing to issue travel documents. We called them recalcitrant countries. So, if the law says there's a Supreme Court ruling, if we can't remove somebody to a country and they're not willing to accept them, we can't hold them past 6 months, which means they need to be released. We had like 24 recalcitrant countries at the time. I think this president came in office. We are down to 9. He has held us accountable and the Department of State accountable to let's start doing visa sanctions on these countries. Don't take their people back. So he's taking that seriously.
Thank you, Thomas Homan, the acting director of ICE. Want to talk to you again soon. Thank you very much. I'm Howie Carr. Howie Carr here with Dr. Houghton from Perfect Smiles. He's here to tell us about a new non-surgical procedure that can change the look of your face.
That's right, Howie. When people want that wow smile, it's often more than just teeth. So we address the shape of the bone that holds the teeth in place.
My listeners know Perfect Smiles for dental veneers, which make your teeth look great, but the facial structure around them can still be lacking. This new procedure can help with that, right?
Yes, like a building, you have to have a good foundation. So this allows us not only to have a better lineup of the teeth, but it makes you look better too.
So let me understand this again. You can take an underdeveloped face, like a small chin or a flat face, and you can help that person develop a fuller, more natural-looking face.
Yes, and all non-surgical, because we use these appliances that stimulate the growth that develops you to your full DNA potential. In other words, how you were born to look.
Not only can it change the look of your face for the better, it can also help with TMJ pain and sleep apnea.
And headaches, too.
Find out more at perfectsmiles.com. That's perfectsmiles.com, or call 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE.
And now, Rambling Ronnie from Worcester.
Howie, what happened to Mike Myers? His face. That's what could go wrong when you play with it. You lucked out. You haven't had that. But you see his face on TV and that stupid Gong show? That's like, wow. He should be on Botched. You know, that for plastic surgery screw-ups. Grace, you've been around Howie too long already. You've got a sick little laugh, the whole attitude, everything. I actually love it, but you gotta watch out, Grace. You don't want to be too pigeonholed. Howie, when you were fat and ugly like Mr. Weinstein, Harvey, did you get anybody to watch you shower? Other than your ferret or one of your Aunt Mays or something? You fat mo.
Listen, my life changed because someone was there to get me to use drugs. No one can understand. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to think that having someone who will listen is gonna help make it better. I'm realizing that I need help.
I'm listening.
I need help. I'm realizing that I think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to understand. No one can get me to use drugs. My life changed because someone was there to listen.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
The Howie Carr Show continues next. We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
She got kicked off the Watergate Commission. How corrupt do you have to be to get kicked off the Watergate Commission? Everyone knows, of course, Hillary's belief that it takes a village, which only makes sense, after all, in places like Haiti, where she's taken a number of them. I wasn't really sure if Hillary was going to be here tonight, because I guess you didn't send her invitation by email. Or maybe you did, and she just found out about it through the wonder of WikiLeaks.
This is the Howie Carr Show. And now, our daily check-in with the Moonbat.
State officials admit to me tonight that something went wrong down in Clayton County at the office that administers food stamps and Medicaid, but they're still not sure what. Parents tell me tonight they can't buy food without those food stamps.
This food stamp card ain't got number 17 cents on it. There's no telling my kids that we can't eat. I'm not taking no, because my babies don't deserve that. Nobody kids should go hungry down here in Georgia.
Me and my kids, they haven't ate since this morning. And I was supposed to get my food stamps yesterday, and I didn't get nothing.
So they was getting angry. They started banging on the windows. I'm a cancer patient. I need these pills to survive. When are y'all gonna come through? When you gonna come through? When I'm on my last pill? Or better yet, when I'm dead? And then I won't need it.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
She got kicked off the Watergate Commission. How corrupt do you have to be to get kicked off the Watergate Commission? Everyone knows, of course, Hillary's belief that it takes a village, which only makes sense, after all, in places like Haiti, where she's taken a number of them. I wasn't really sure if Hillary was going to be here tonight, because I guess you didn't send her invitation by email. Or maybe you did, and she just found out about it through the wonder of WikiLeaks.
This is the Howie Carr Show. And now, our daily check-in with the Moonbat.
State officials admit to me tonight that something went wrong down in Clayton County at the office that administers food stamps and Medicaid, but they're still not sure what. Parents tell me tonight they can't buy food without those food stamps.
This food stamp card ain't got number 17 cents on it. There's no telling my kids that we can't eat. I'm not taking no, because my babies don't deserve that. Nobody kids should go hungry down here in Georgia.
Me and my kids, they haven't ate since this morning. And I was supposed to get my food stamps yesterday, and I didn't get nothing.
So they was getting angry. They started banging on the windows. I'm a cancer patient. I need these pills to survive. When are y'all gonna come through? When you gonna come through? When I'm on my last pill? Or better yet, when I'm dead? And then I won't need it.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there.
Remember James Damore? He's the former Google engineer who was fired for pushing back against the tech giant's absurd diversity quotas. Now he's part of a lawsuit against the company claiming it discriminates against white male conservatives. This week, an attorney representing Damore filed a 181-page complaint filled with crystal clear evidence that high-level managers blacklisted conservatives and even discriminated against religious employees. I guess we'll all have to start using Bing now.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
One of the most famous men in New England.
Conservative radio host Howie Carr.
The legendary Howie.
Who do you love?
We love Howie Carr.
Howie Carr.
Howie.
Howie Carr. We love you, Howie.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Remember James Damore? He's the guy who was fired by Google for objecting to some of their politically correct directives and the whole corporate culture, which is just like 1984. And so he's now filed a 181-page lawsuit against Google. And apparently a lot of the 181 pages is just screenshots, saves from their own internal message boards. And I haven't read the lawsuit yet, but according to stories about it, Google's corporate culture encourages, sanctions, and facilitates an extraordinary amount of abuse against conservative white males. Sounds like a lot of places in the United States of America. Much of the complaint consists of screenshots of internal Google communications and postings that would constitute strong evidence of hostile environment, race, and gender harassment if the races and genders were reversed. They can actually boo white male hires at Google and openly discuss committing acts of violence against political opponents. The punch a Nazi debate is alive and well at Google, and the definition of Nazi is extraordinarily broad. Here's the definition of Nazi. Someone disagrees with you? Nazi. Someone voted for Donald Trump? Nazi. In one posting, an employee proposes a moratorium on hiring white, cis, heterosexual, abled men who aren't abuse survivors. Gee, I guess that means I couldn't work at Google, huh? In another, an employee advertises a workshop on, quote, healing from toxic whiteness. What is toxic whiteness, by the way? Demore claims that an employee who sexually identifies as, quote, yellow scale wingless dragonkin. I am not familiar with that sexual orientation.
Oh, you're such an old fogey.
And an expansive, ornate building. Oh, the person identifies as an expansive, ornate building, presented a talk entitled Living as a Plural Being at an internal company event. How about living with a straitjacket on? Let's go to the chump line.
Obama built a coffin for this country. Oprah's got the nails to finish it. Oprah for president. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, Hillary had those same nails, but she dropped them, so now Oprah's picking them up.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
Hey, Howie. Governor Patrick calling. Wow, it sounds like you're having quite the birthday party next week. Did you notify the fire department? You'll probably set off the smoke detectors with those 75 candles. And with your incipient emphysema, you're bound to pass out trying to blow them out. What can we say?
Maybe I'll bring the pugs in to help me blow out the candles. My 39 candles. I'm coming up on my 39th birthday. I never understood that joke when Jack Benny used to make it when I was a boy. Now it seems very, very appropriate. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, whose Maine-made windows are available only through Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals. Lumber yards like Cape Cod Lumber, serving builders and remodelers in southeastern Massachusetts since 1958. Cape Cod Lumber, a name you can build on.
I taught at the Kennedy School of Government. Was that before or after you walked on the moon, you whack-mo?
I did. I have the paper, the issue of the Harvard Crimson. There was a picket line outside the entrance to the Institute of Politics on my first day of class.
You're probably going to have to bring that in because you've been making this claim for a long time and we've never really seen any evidence.
It's true. I was asked to join the Harvard Faculty Club.
I mean,
at a time when they were very desperate for members. I guess I didn't even need to say that if they invited me to join the Harvard Faculty Club.
I mean, it rings true, but I think we're going to hold you to a higher standard than Michael Wolff, so you're going to need to bring in that copy of the Crimson.
All right.
Collusion. Didn't he say it 13 times the other day that there was no collusion? That means there's collusion, and you're delusional. All you Republicans are delusional.
Would it be asking too much to see some evidence? Is there any evidence?
Oh man, I was watching that there President Trump at that meeting yesterday about the dreamers. Hey, what's up with this bill of love? Hands off, buddy. That's my internet perv name. Oh way.
Really? That's his bill of love. I did not know that. That's his internet handle. So watch out for those internet handles. They got Carlos Danger into a real jam.
Oprah for president. Oprah for president? Yeah, I think the Russians would go for that.
508 says, I saw DeMore on Tucker last night. Hey, I saw him too. I work for a Fortune 500 company headquarters in Massachusetts. Maybe not that extreme, but it sounded a lot like my company. Yeah, it's. By the way, we had some problems with the text line earlier in the show, but they're up now, so I apologize.
You want to play that Oprah audio now?
What's that?
You want to play that Oprah audio?
Yeah, go ahead.
Still, and there's a whole generation. I say this, I said this, for apartheid South Africa. I said this for my own, community in the South. There are still generations of people, older people, who were born and bred and marinated in it, in that prejudice and racism, and they just have to die.
So they have to. So vote for Oprah and she'll kill you. Obama was just going to, not let you have the hip replacement or the operation on your lung. He was just going to give you some pills and send you home to so you could float out into eternity stoned. Oprah wants to take proactive measures to get rid of you.
Howie, I got an idea. It'll help you with your birthday. I know it's tough and all, but maybe a GoFundMe page might help cover the expenses. I mean, we're all, we're all in it together, Howie. We just want you to have a good day, okay? I love you, Howie. You metrosexual.
I am not a metrosexual. I am many things, but I'm not a metrosexual. By the way, next Wednesday is Michelle Obama's birthday, and it's mine too. Whose birthday party would you rather go to? If you want to come to my birthday party, we're having it here at the studio next Wednesday. Everyone who attends will get to see the show live. We'll have a Chinese food spread from the Kowloon and a cake. Plus, everyone will get well, I guess the cake will come from Market Basket if it's like last year. Delicious Market Basket cake. I love Market Basket cakes. Plus, everyone will get a birthday gift bag full of some great stuff from the Howie store. We've sold about over half the tickets now. Over half the tickets are gone, so get them before they're gone. HowieCarrShow.com, click store.
That judge is from the same tribe as Liz Warren, the Harvard tribe.
Yeah. Harvard Law School and Camelot High, the Institute of Politics, JFK School of Government. What is a master's of public administration, by the way? Does that mean you just you learn how to not take any sick days, fill out your time cards and pencil, so when you retire, you can say, I never took a vacation day and I never took a sick day. Where's my check for $500,000? Like all the brass at the state police in Massachusetts.
I always ask the same question too about people who have a master's in public policy.
Yeah. What is it? Here's another one. This is what Ben Rhodes has: a master's in fine arts. Fine arts. How about common arts? That's what I want to get, an MCA.
You'd have it in the coarse arts, Howie.
Hey, does this Trump line really exist? I've been calling in for months with great jokes and observations, but never got on. Is the bubblehead too stupid to know what I'm talking about?
Shots fired.
We gave him a break on that one. That didn't even deserve to make it. I wonder what the ones that didn't make it were like.
All those women accusing people, the government people especially, of sexual harassment should have to go before the Supreme Court and be put under oath.
That would really... I think we'd have to hire some more people or put the Supreme Court on overtime. They would be very busy if they had to hear all these cases. We've got a couple of more perv updates. We'll do them after the break, by the way. It's not... It's not just for Grace anymore. They break all through the show. Probably they break in the evening, too, after we're driving home.
That was your last chump line message. Thank you for calling Howie Carr, you chump.
All right, that's it for the chump line today. The chump line is the recorded voicemail message service of the Howie Carr Show. If you'd like to leave a message, 844-500-4242. That's a toll-free number, 844-500-4242. Press 2 for the chump line. Leave your message. We may or may not play it at this time each weekday. The chump line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, whose Maine-made windows are available only through Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals. Lumber yards like Cape Cod Lumber, serving builders and remodelers in southeastern Massachusetts since 1958. Cape Cod Lumber, a name you can build on.
Howie, I got an idea. It'll help you with your birthday. I know it's tough and all, but maybe a GoFundMe page might help cover the expenses. I mean, we're all, we're all in it together, Howie. We just want you to have a good day, okay? I love you, Howie. You metrosexual.
Yeah, I like to spend my birthday contemplating some of the other people who've had this birthday, like Al Capone, for instance, and Muhammad Ali, and, of course, Michelle Obama. I don't know how much Michelle is charging to go to her birthday party, but I dare say it's a lot more than I'm charging. I'm Howie Carr. This half hour of the Howie Carr Show is powered by the Car Guys. Purchasing a pre-owned car can be tricky, but not if you go through Bill Papa George. He is the absolute best in the business. Both Grace and I use the Car Guys, and recently my daughter Charlotte got a car from the Car Guys. Call 800-300-4600. That's 800-300-4600.
Howie Carr.
It's been more than 2 years now since I had the sleeve procedure at Newton Wellesley Hospital's Weight Loss Center. I've kept the 100 pounds off, and I'm so happy. I feel better and I look better. I just cleaned out my clothes closet, getting rid of all those XLs and even double XLs I know I'll never fit into again. Thank goodness. If you're thinking about finally losing all that extra weight, now is the time. Call Newton Wellesley Hospital's Weight Loss Center at 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss. I talked to so many people who've had the procedure, and not one of them has ever said to me, Howie, I wish I'd waited a little longer to lose all this weight. Don't procrastinate any longer. Make 2018 the year you get your health back. Call 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss. Don't procrastinate any longer. Whatever your age, whatever your gender, do it. Call 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss.
And now Grace gets to know Howie a little better.
Why do people call you the trash man?
There was a gangster in Rhode Island named Jerry Ouimet, and he didn't like it when I used to write about him, and I posted his mugshot in the Herald, and so he wrote a book himself, and he referred to me as the trash man, because he said I was always digging up trash on people. And so I thought, well, I guess that will be my mob moniker from now on, the trash man.
Why, oh why, do you obsessively collect empty cans?
Because if the cans are thrown away, then the money goes to the state. It's the medieval principle of esthetage. So look it up if you don't know what it means. But I want to deprive the state of having all that extra money, even if it's just nickels and dimes here and there, to give to illegal aliens.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
You've listened to him for years. Now watch him in HD. Click on the Howie Cam at HowieCarrShow.com. This is the Howie Carr Show.
516 says, I'm going to your birthday bash. Is there a gift registry? I hadn't thought of that, but that's a good suggestion. I need a gravy bowl. 844-500-4242. Now it's time for the second. Is Grace going to be at the party? Of course she is. Yes, and I have a new cutter for the cake. I got it from Joe Piantadosi. He brought it in last. I don't even know what to call it. What do you call that I got?
Just a spatula, a pie cutter.
Is it? It's not really a spatula. I guess you call it just a pie cutter.
You've been pondering this mystery for like a week now.
I have, and I still don't know the answer to it.
Really stressing you out. Maybe someone on the text line can help you out.
But thank you, Joe, for the spatula or the pie cutter. It's got the Piantadosi logo on it. It's nice. Anyway, we have the 5 o'clock hour perv update, which is going to update the 3 o'clock perv update, which this is kind of, I feel bad about this one because I like this guy. He's been a guest on the show. James Rosen, he left mysteriously last month, just decided to quit Fox News, and we all said, what's this all about? Well, now we know the answer. He has been outed by, of all people, NPR, National Public Radio, which has its own perv problem. Top Fox News D.C. reporter James Rosen left network after harassment claims. The network cited no reason for Rosen's exit and did not announce it on air. According to Rosen's former colleagues, however, he had an established pattern of flirting aggressively with many peers and had made sexual advances toward 3 female Fox News journalists, including 2 reporters and a producer. He's also the one who put together the book last year of the obituaries that William F. Buckley wrote in National Review over a 50-plus year period. And it was an excellent, excellent book. And we had him on as a guest when the book came out. And I was hoping that there'd be a second edition of the book, because he said he had a lot more that he could have used, but he just didn't have space in one book, in one volume. But I guess that book will be on hold now, so to speak. The accusations are severe, according to NPR. In the winter following the 9/11 terror attacks, a female Fox News reporter joined the Bureau from New York. In a shared cab ride back from a meal, Rosen groped her, grabbing her breasts. After she rebuffed his advance, Rosen sought to steal away her sources and stories related to his interests in diplomacy and national security. And this is a guy who also was, as you know, illegally surveilled by the Department of Justice under Obama. They keep accusing Trump of being an incipient fascist and wanting to violate the Bill of Rights, but Trump has done nothing like what the Obama administration did to Rosen. In another episode, several years later, a female producer covering the State Department alleged that Rosen had directly sexually harassed her. A foreign national, she subsequently accepted a deal from Fox that enabled her to extend her stay in the U.S. in exchange for not making her complaint public. So she got a green card for her silence, it appears. Last spring, Rosen turned his attention to a younger female reporter. Returning from a lunch together, Rosen physically tried to kiss her in the elevator ride back to the office. When she refused, he attempted to forcibly kiss her again. He then asked the reporter to keep the approach quiet and offered her unsolicited help in getting more time on Bret Baier's nightly political newscast special report. Sure, Bret Baier needed this, huh? Rosen's departure was a surprise, with no celebration of his achievements on the air, no announcement to viewers, nor even much warning to colleagues. Rosen had attended a Christmas party for Baier's show Special Report just a few days earlier. Meanwhile, on the other side of the political spectrum, the Washington Post, which broke the story about Roy Moore, which ended his chances of going to the U.S. Senate from Alabama. We will tell you who it is on the other side. We will leave you hanging in suspense. Don't get too worked up. You may have never heard of him. I hadn't heard of him. But he is a Washington Post scribe, and he's riding the pine for the next 90 days. I'm Howie Carr. Suffering from the winter blues? Maybe it's time to stock up with Liquor and More. Don't go out in the snow and avoid long grocery lines by taking advantage of their delivery service. Liquor and More has a great selection of wines, beer, and liquors. If you are the hearty New England type, you can visit them in Plymouth, Bourne, South Dennis, or South Yarmouth. Go to their site at liquorandmore.com to see the variety. Liquor and More has just what you need. Liquor and More, a proud sponsor of life's memorable moments.
Hey, it's Brendan from Cape Gunworks. Are you looking for a new firearm or maybe some range time? Then come on down to Cape Gunworks in Hyannis. We have a brand new 20,000 square foot facility with a huge pro shop with hundreds of modern firearms and accessories. Plus, we buy and sell unique and collectible guns. If you're looking for range time, we've got 15 brand new state-of-the-art lanes open to the public. Don't have a firearm? Don't worry. We've got plenty of pistol and rifles for you to rent. Exercise your Second Amendment rights at Cape Gunworks in Hyannis and at capegunworks.com.
Excuse me, I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before your office went, quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me, get granular, keep me in the pipeline. But nada, nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me, and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So, I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume, and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only thing I ask is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
And now Grace gets to know Howie a little better.
If you were going to write Whitey a letter, what would you say?
I would say, hello, Jimmy. Don't you think you better get right with Jesus before you die? Why don't you tell me all the other people you killed? Because we know you killed a lot more than 19 people. I know you were only convicted of 11 or 12, but we know there was a lot more than 19. Let's go all the way back to when you were working for Hank Garrity, that homosexual gangster in Andrews Square. Who did you kill for him? That's just for starters.
What advice would you give to aspiring bridge players?
My advice to aspiring bridge players is learn how to count cards. The same advice I would give to anybody who wants to break even in a casino. Count cards. Learn how to count cards. It's a discipline like anything else.
We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
It's great to be here with 1,000 wonderful people, or as I call it, a small intimate dinner with some friends. Or as Hillary calls it, her largest crowd of the season. I have no doubt that Hillary is going to laugh quite a bit tonight, sometimes even at an appropriate moment. You know, last night I called Hillary a nasty woman. But this stuff is all relative. After listening to Hillary rattle on and on and on, I don't think so badly of Rosie O'Donnell anymore.
This is the Howie Carr Show. And now Grace gets to know Howie a little better.
Why do people call you the trash man?
There was a gangster in Rhode Island named Jerry Ouimet, and he didn't like it when I used to write about him, and I posted his mugshot in the Herald, and so he wrote a book himself, and he referred to me as the trash man because he said I was always digging up trash on people. And so I thought, well, I guess that will be my mob moniker from now on, the trash man.
Why, oh why, do you obsessively collect empty cans?
Because if the cans are thrown away, then the money goes to the state. It's the medieval principle of esthetage. So look it up if you don't know what it means. But I want to deprive the state of having all that extra money, even if it's just nickels and dimes here and there, to give to illegal aliens.
Celebrating 25 years on the air, this is the Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. With us now on the line is John Solomon. He's the reporter for The Hill, and in recent weeks, it seems like he's been Sean Hannity's co-host on the Fox News Channel show. John, you've been on every night, and every night there's new developments in the DOJ FBI story. It's just amazing. You got more information coming out tonight?
There may be in the next 24 hours. We may learn more about contacts between the news media and major figures inside the Justice Department on the Russia probe. I'm working on something now that I think will be very enlightening. And as you know, this case has evolved from the core issues, right, of was there Russia tampering and was there collusion between Trump and Russia during the election, to a lot of other issues, including did the agents who worked the case have a political bias against Trump, and were there unauthorized leaks of classified information. And I think this new information that I'm working on tonight will add a little texture and context and new information about the relationship between the prosecutors, FBI agents, and media during this time.
Now you and I guess Sarah Carter as well have gotten the 350 of the supposedly 950 texts, 9,500 texts that
9,500 texts. We saw several hundred of them. I don't know the exact number that we saw, but we went through hundreds of these text messages.
Does Devin Nunes have all 9,500 of them?
I don't believe so. I don't think anyone does yet.
But he is going to get them, correct?
It's unclear. He's certainly going to get the ones that are relevant to the Russia case. That's part of the deal. But when you have 9,500 text messages between two people who were allegedly engaged in an affair, some of them may have nothing to do with Russia.
Yeah,
so
we're interested in those too.
Yeah, I'm sure they would make some interesting reading. Yes.
Well, one thing, you guys were speculating the other night. They were going back and forth talking about they were going to throw somebody under the bus in a CF article, and I was puzzling over it, and you were wondering about it yourself. How about this? I think I read this somewhere online. Could CF stand for Clinton Foundation?
Yes, that is our working theory based on the interviews we've done. The reason for that is that shortly after that exchange, there was an article that came out that laid out some of the frustrations that had occurred in the Clinton Foundation investigation, and even suggestions that a top FBI official and federal prosecutors had squashed the ability to look further into alleged criminality by the Clinton Foundation. So that fits the scenario. We don't have direct confirmation. We don't have a justice official or Pete Stroke or Lisa Page saying, yeah, that's what I meant. But I think that it falls into a timeline where you can see a Clinton Foundation story the next day where some FBI and justice officials do look like they're getting thrown under the bus for blocking the Clinton Foundation. And if those agents had something to do with that story, that's going to become extremely interesting to the congressional investigators and probably the Justice Department Inspector General, the watchdog who's also looking at all this mess inside the Justice Department.
I'm so frustrated, and I know Sean Hannity's frustrated, and I think most of our listeners are frustrated. And I've asked people like Sessions and even the president and the vice president when they've been on the show, what has been this terrible delay? Rosenstein and Christopher Wray basically stonewalling the congressional committees. What is this all about?
That's right. There's a balancing act that goes on all the time, and this goes back to Watergate, Whitewater, impeachment. When you have an ongoing criminal investigation and you have the right of Congress to oversee things at the same time, you get into these issues. It happened with Nixon and over the tapes and over certain financial records where the FBI might not have been quite ready. But usually over time, a deal is worked out, and that's exactly what happened here. Chris Wray and Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General, went up to the Hill, and they negotiated it out, and they gave Congress what they needed to finish their Russia investigation, and may have carved out a few things that weren't necessarily important to the committee that might preserve the right of the FBI to continue investigating things without having it become public. But these tensions have gone on in all the famous investigations, all the way back to Watergate. It's a balancing act, and it seems as though cooler heads have prevailed recently, and a good deal has been made so that Congress gets what it wants, and the Justice Department feels like it hasn't jeopardized any of its ongoing investigations. And so I think the good news for the American public is a deal was reached, but for a period of time there was a little bit of foot-dragging and stonewalling going on.
We hear a lot about this Inspector General's report. I guess his name is Horowitz.
Right.
When is that report?
That's right.
When is that? He's supposedly investigating all these matters that you talk about and write about on thehill.com. When is that report coming out?
Yeah, my best intelligence right now from the reporting I've done and from people who have had contacts with the Inspector General is that it likely will land sometime in March. There's a 6 or 8 week period right now of very intensive writing to synthesize all this amazing evidence that the ID began gathering last July. Now, if you remember, this started as a very narrow administrative review. Did a certain number of FBI executives have a conflict of interest in investigating Hillary Clinton while one of them's wives took money from a Hillary Clinton friend? It has expanded since then to political bias, affairs, allegations that investigations were shut down by the Justice Department despite evidence of criminality. And I would expect it to be a far-ranging and very interesting read and a good assessment of how politics potentially seeps into the Justice Department and FBI on sensitive cases.
Boy, seeps in. It sounds like it seems like it's flooded in the last
it's
administration.
Certainly flooded in those text messages. Yeah. The real question is that are those two agents a representative of all the great people who work in the FBI, or were they, a couple of outliers who had a lot of partisan motive and also obsession with the press and the news media and maybe manipulating the news media? We don't know that yet. My suspicion from my reporting is that we're going to find other contacts with the media that are going to be suspicious, and that we're going to probably see other figures on the criminal side of the investigation who might have engaged in political banter that would raise questions about their impartiality. I think we're going to see more. Is it widespread? Probably not, but there are going to be some more.
We're talking to John Solomon from thehill.com. He's been reporting on these scandals involving the Department of Justice and the agents of the FBI. And I'm just disappointed that it's going to take till March. I thought originally the report was going to come out January 15th, but I guess this is the way it works sometimes. You get overwhelmed with
and
material.
I think part of the reason is that the original plan was it was going to come out in January, but I think because so many more things have been referred over to the IG, the predicate, the purview of the investigation expanded, and so there's a lot more new information that's being added to the probe. And so I think the reason for the delay is is a legitimate reason, which is it started narrow and it just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Now let's talk about Glenn Simpson a little bit. Now there's basically a puff piece about him today in the New York Times. This is the guy who runs Fusion GPS. He's a former Wall Street Journal reporter. The New York Times, obviously, they want the dodgy dossier to be totally factual and used as the grounds to impeach Donald Trump. But it seems everything that he seems to have done seems to be falling apart. He said that he said that somebody was killed because of the dossier. Now that turns out to be false. The guy that he was talking about actually died. That we're learning that today. And he said he said something else. He said that they had somebody in the Trump campaign was walked into the FBI office. That was a false statement. I mean, did this guy have any real research? Did he do any real research? Do you think, John Solomon?
It's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question. One of the things I think that I talked to a lot of my colleagues this morning in the journalism profession, and both the op-ed that Simpson wrote last week and the New York Times story this morning angered a lot of my colleagues who thought that those two efforts were equating what Glenn Simpson did here as a hired gun PI to what journalists doing. There were some efforts to say, listen, we were just nonpartisan journalists trying to follow the facts wherever we go. Well, a couple things that my own colleagues say today is, listen, we don't take money to write stories. He took money to write a report. And the reason we don't do that is it's called checkbook journalism, and it may influence what you come out to. Secondly, we would never publish a document without going and getting fair comment. Yet it's pretty obvious Glenn Simpson's team didn't contact a lot of the accused, and some of those accusations now have turned out to be true, particularly in the case of the president's lawyer, Mike Cohen. So I think these efforts to equate him as a journalist, because he used to be one, with what he was doing now are roundly being rejected. And, it's a good question here. Will any of these congressional committees refer Simpson for any further investigation? And here's a good reason why. He was asked in questions, did he know who were all his employees? He failed to mention one contractor, the wife of a Justice Department employee that we just learned about. Didn't mention it in the interview. He also made a point that he didn't see himself as an arm or a appendage of the Democratic National Committee. He made that statement before we all found out that DNC was paying for the dossier. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw congressional investigators either asking for a clarification or a further investigation of whether Simpson was trying to mislead Congress.
He wasn't sworn in, I read, but it is a crime to lie to Congress. So he does have some jeopardy. Now, haven't there been reports too that when they got these financial records of this company, the Fusion GPS that produced the dodgy dossier, that they paid 4 journalists, so-called, during the
right. We don't have
run-up?
Confirmation of that. What we do know is that the bank record request that the House Intelligence Committee made asked specifically for payments to journalists. What we don't know is whether those payments actually were made yet. And what we found out with Fusion was, through the court records, they were fighting to have to disclose that information, calling it proprietary. We do not yet know whether they did pay journalists, but that's certainly one of the big questions that the oversight committees in Congress are digging at. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get an answer on that in the next months.
Oh, well, I had heard the number 4, that they maybe paid off 4 people. Where am I getting that? Where do I get that number from?
That number is for they requested transactions any transactions that might have occurred between Fusion GPS and a small number of reporters. I think it's either 3 or 4. But that doesn't mean the transactions occurred, right? It's the committee asking. They probably have a good reason for asking, right?
Yeah.
But until those records are purveyed and turned over, we won't know for sure. And as a journalist, I always hate to make assumptions. So I think we have to wait and see. But there's no doubt Congress has a suspicion that 3 or 4 journalists might have been paid by Fusion GPS. Now we'll have to find out, 1, were they? And 2, what was the money for? Was it to write stories? Was it to do moonlighting? We don't know the answer to that yet.
John Solomon, I'm going to try not to let that destroy my faith in the integrity of the journalistic community.
These are tough days for journalists. We're seeing a lot of bad reporting.
One last question for you. What about the you know what? I'm so interested in what's going on. I forgot my last question. I can't believe it, John. Okay.
Yeah, that happens to me often.
Well, listen, are you going to be on Sean Hannity tonight?
I don't know yet. Still working and reporting on this story, so I don't know. I don't know my fate much beyond the next hour.
Okay. Well, listen. We love getting the stuff, and let us know, and we'll like to have you on the show again. Thank you, John Solomon.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Give these stories. It means a lot.
Thank you, John Solomon, thehill.com. He's on top of this, even if I'm not. I'm Howie Carr. This hour of the Howie Carr Show is powered by Newton Wellesley Hospital. Call Newton Wellesley Hospital's Center for Weight Loss Surgery at 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss.
Howie Carr.
Sooner or later, your car will break down. It's a fact every car, truck, and SUV owner knows. If you're lucky, it happens while you're still under the manufacturer's warranty and the repair is covered. If it happens after the warranty expires, you could be out of pocket thousands to get it fixed. That's why I recommend getting extended coverage like I did from carshield.com. A new engine or new transmission could cost over $5,000. Even a simple repair or a sensor can cost over $1,000. Skip that hassle. CarShield makes the whole process easy. You select your favorite mechanic, or you could even go to the dealership to get the work done. And there's no checks in the mail stuff or waiting for a reimbursement. CarShield gets the mechanic paid directly. CarShield's administrators even give you the VIP treatment, providing 24/7 roadside assistance in a rental car while yours is in the shop, so you're not left stranded in the cold. If your car is 3 to 12 years old, it doesn't mean you have to pay high repair bills. CarShield administrators have paid out close to $2 billion in claims, and they're ready to help you. Save yourself thousands in potential car repairs. Get covered by the ultimate in extended vehicle service protection before it's too late. Call 800-CAR-6100 and mention code Howie, or visit carshield.com and use code Howie to save 10%. That's carshield.com, code Howie. A deductible may apply. One more time, the number, 800-CAR-6100.
And now, 6 fun facts in 60 seconds with Grace Curley.
In 2006, an Australian man tried to sell New Zealand on eBay. The price rose to $3,000 before eBay shut it down. Reed Hastings was inspired to start Netflix after racking up a $40 late fee on a VHS copy of Apollo 13. In Japan, letting a sumo wrestler make your baby cry is considered good luck. The 50-star American flag was designed by an Ohio high school student for a class project. His teacher originally gave him a B-. According to the National Insurance Crime Bureau, the most commonly stolen vehicle in 2012 was the 1994 Honda Accord. The Arkansas School for the Deaf's nickname is the Leopards, the Deaf Leopards.
This has been 6 fun facts with Grace Curley in 60 seconds. Check out Grace's latest posts, pictures, and tweets at HowieCarrShow.com.
Hi, this is Howie Carr, attorney at law. Are you a white male who voted for Donald Trump? Do you have a Make America Great sweatshirt or a hat? Have you had a beer since November the 8th? If you answered yes to one or more of the above questions, there's a good chance that you are soon going to be charged with committing a fake hate crime. Will you be ready, you uneducated redneck? When you get charged with committing a fake hate crime, will you be ready? You need reasonable doubt at a reasonable price. And that's where Howie Carr, attorney at law, Esquire, comes in. Call me at 1-800-FAKE-HRC. 1-800-FAKE-HRC. And we will get you some legal insurance for when it inevitably occurs and you're charged with a fake hate crime.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. When I woke up, I couldn't speak or walk.
145 over 92, and then I had a heart attack.
182 over 100, and I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest, and then a stroke. Everything changed. It felt like my life was over.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a heart attack or stroke are far from invisible or silent.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke. If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
180 over 110, and I had a stroke. And I'm 33, so I never see this coming.
If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it. Or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Head to toe, everything's changed. Head to toe.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Want more Howie Carr? Listen 24/7 online at HowieCarrShow.com. Now, back to Howie Carr.
I thought of the question. I can't believe I had a senior moment like that. There's now speculation in some of the more fevered outposts of the internet, but we've seen no proof of any FISA warrant applications. To surveil the Trump people during the campaign, and so now some of the nuttier people on the internet are speculating maybe there wasn't a warrant. Maybe this is what they used to call in the 60s a gypsy wire, meaning an illegal wiretap.
And 508's pointing out you're having senior moments at the ripe old age of 39.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? I know, I can't believe it. Well, I'm not turning 39 until next Wednesday, I'm 38 now. Today's poll question is powered by Tax-Free Tees. Does your business need custom apparel? Do what I did. Get your custom t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and apparel at Tax-Free Tees. Visit them online at dowhathowiedid.com. That's dowhathowiedid.com or call 844-900-4848. That's 844-900-4848. Steve, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Are you worried that President Trump is going to cave to the Democrats on immigration reform?
Yes, I am.
Acting ICE Director Tom Homan must have reassured some people because it's now down to just 57% who are concerned.
Good Lord, I guess he did. It went down from 78% to 57% in 1 hour. Boy, he was. I'm less worried than before he was on the show last hour. But wow, that's quite a change. Don't see that happen very often. Okay, I've teased you enough. The suspended Washington Post perv is a reporter named Joel Achenbach. Joel Achenbach. He's been lately doing stuff on the science beat. That's why you've never heard of him. The Post said Achenbach would be suspended. Is he from Lukenbach, Texas? Let's go to Lukenbach, Texas. Now we've been suspended for 90 days without pay. The most severe newsroom punishment the paper has handed out in recent years for violation of its workplace or journalistic standards. His suspension begins immediately. Achenbach issued a statement. I'm very sorry to say that I've behaved badly and have been suspended by the Post for 3 months for inappropriate workplace conduct. I've said and done things that were professional, and I apologize to the women affected by this and acknowledge their courage in speaking out. He's 57, and he's one of the Post's longest-serving and most versatile writers. The Post's decision to suspend rather than fire Achenbach mirrors the New York Times disciplinary action against its drunken White House correspondent, Glenn Thrush, who was suspended for 2 months and removed from covering the president following a lengthy investigation of his touching everything but the third rail that occurred when he was a reporter at Politico. Arthur, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Arthur. Quickly, Arthur.
Hang on. Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
That was a great interview. Howie. But you know something? We're paying for the same real estate twice. As I recall, in 1986, for that immigration amnesty, the biggest part of the reason that Reagan signed it was for increased enforcement and a border wall.
Right.
And I don't know why that's not brought up with the when we're talking about this.
It's brought up all the time, Arthur. That's what people keep saying. We can't have one of these wimpy hamburger deals. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Why don't we flip it around? This time we get the wall first, and then we'll get the dreamers okayed. Maybe. Thanks, Arthur. I'm Howie Carr. Howie Carr here with Ronnie from Life Change Tea. Ronnie, Get the Tea has changed my life, but many of my listeners don't understand what Life Change Tea is. Can you tell them?
It's a wonderful tea. It detoxes you. Most people find the side effect for the first couple months is weight loss because we get stuff trapped in our colon. We don't get it out, we don't cleanse, and we feel yucky. So what you're going to start feeling is a lot of energy.
So you can lose some serious weight drinking Life Change Tea?
I lost 25 pounds drinking the tea in 3 months.
Wow. And it just makes you feel better, too.
When you're sick, all of a sudden, when you start taking natural things, boy, I tell you, the sickness starts going away.
I can attest to that, Ronnie. Where can people go to learn more and order Life Change Tea?
They can go to getthetea.com. I make it really simple because people will say, oh, geez, I need to get the tea. So getthetea.com. And we actually put a lot of information out there so you know what you're getting. It's not just a product, and then you go, wonder what this is for. All the stuff is explained right there on the website.
Getthetea.com.
And now, Rambling Ronnie from Worcester.
Howie, he don't have a chance. The bird's never going to fly. The dog's never going to hunt. They're not going to give this man an inch. Nothing. Zero. It's unbelievable. Talk about honeymoons, whatever. It's criminal, but it's the power of the media. There you go. Again, it's all payback. Obama's behind the whole damn thing, behind a lot of it. Him and his radical buddies are planning a lot of these rallies. Make no doubt about it with their buddy Valerie Jarrett and the rest of them. You know, make no doubt about it. I know I'm preaching to the choir, Howie, but this is what's going on. It's so sad. In the meantime, Rome burns, you know. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. There you go.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
The Howie Carr Show continues next. We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
How do you spend $1 million doing a soccer field? You have a level piece of land. Throw them a ball, let them play soccer if they have to play it all. We don't want to listen to his stuff with being politically correct and everything has to. We have a lot of work to do. 10 years ago, everybody wanted the wall. The Democrats, the Republicans, they couldn't get it. You know one of the reasons they couldn't get it? Environmental impact statements. Did you know that? There were toads. It's the most incredible thing. Number one, I wouldn't even think about anything until I built a wall impenetrable. There will be nobody coming into this country illegally. But our people don't have a clue. We give state dinners to the heads of China. I say, why are you doing state dinners for them? They're ripping us left and right. Just take them to McDonald's and go back to the negotiating table. Seriously.
This is the Howie Carr Show. And now, our daily check-in with the Moonbat.
Okay, well, I'm a witness here. What I see was a horrible, tragic situation.
The guy was coming down, and I guess the police was trying to do a stop point. The man said, no, not today, and they began to race behind each other like cats and dogs. The police officer got behind the man and started going so fast his car spit out of control. Girl, he hit the pole, his head went to one side and his body went to the other side, and this is the result. I was actually going to buy me a piece of burger from Burger King, and I just stopped right in the middle because my hunger just went away. Because when I seen that accident, girl, I just began to be nosy, and I just had to just understand that somebody was experiencing this difficulty moment that was just not. And then the police officer kind of submerged, and both of them interacted, and it was a bull twist about, and the police car just twisted around like a tornado, girl, and the Lord just shook it up, and the man just got injured.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
How do you spend $1 million doing the soccer field? You have a level piece of land. Throw them a ball, let them play soccer if they have to play it all. We don't want to listen to his stuff with being politically correct and everything has to. We have a lot of work to do. 10 years ago, everybody wanted the wall. The Democrats, the Republicans, they couldn't get it. You know one of the reasons they couldn't get it? Environmental impact statements. Did you know that? There were toads. It's the most incredible thing. Number one, I wouldn't even think about anything until I built a wall impenetrable. There will be nobody coming into this country illegally. But our people don't have a clue. We give state dinners to the heads of China. I say, why are you doing state dinners for them? They're ripping us left and right. Just take them to McDonald's and go back to the negotiating table. Seriously.
This is the Howie Carr Show. And now, our daily check-in with the Moonbat.
Okay, well, I'm a witness here. What I seen was a horrible, tragic situation. The guy was coming down, and I guess the police was trying to do a stop point. The man said, no, not today, and they began to race behind each other like cats and dogs. The police officer got behind the man and started going so fast his car spit out of control. Girl, he hit the pole, his head went to one side and his body went to the other side, and this is the result. I was actually going to buy me a piece of burger from Burger King, and I just stopped right in the middle because my hunger just went away. Because when I seen that accident, girl, I just began to be nosy, and I just had to just understand that somebody was experiencing this difficulty moment that was just not. And then the police officer kind of submerged, and both of them interacted, and it was a bull twist about, and the police car just twisted around like a tornado, girl, and the Lord just shook it up, and the man just got injured.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories.
We're all happy that President Trump and Republicans in Congress have given us a tax cut at the federal level. But here in Massachusetts, the greedy hacks are still clamoring for more of our money. In the month of December, the Commonwealth collected $3 billion in taxes. That's $100 million every single day. $100 million a day to spend on welfare for illegal aliens, pensions for crooked Pauls, and never-ending union construction projects.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
One of the most famous men in New England.
Conservative radio host Howie Carr.
The legendary Howie.
Who do you love?
We love Howie Carr.
Howie Carr.
Howie.
Howie Carr. We love you, Howie.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Howie Carr and the Boston Herald get results. Damn it. House Speaker Robert DeLeo, the unindicted co-conspirator, has issued a statement this evening. DeLeo signals no major tax hikes on the horizon. This is Wednesday. On Monday, he was asked the exact same question at the State House. If any new taxes were on the table in fiscal year 2019, which starts on July 1st, of course. And he responded, much too early to discuss that at all. But now he says that there, after a rash of criticism in my column and in the editorial pages of the Herald, and I'm sure elsewhere as well, he's backed down a little bit. So I won't say there aren't going to be any taxes, that I've assured that there's not going to be any taxes. I've assured that he's going to issue a statement saying that there aren't going to be any taxes.
You're a real champion of the working man, Howie.
But, you know, as I was reading the documents before I wrote the column yesterday, I saw the statement from the Department of Revenue, the State Department of Revenue, and I was really amazed. I never understood until that moment just how much money they are rolling in on Beacon Hill. They took in December, the month of December. I know it's Christmas, 31 days, all that. I know it's a big time, and people were trying to pay taxes early, you know, so they could write them off on their federal taxes, I guess. But they took in over $3 billion in the month of December. And I thought about that yesterday. I said, wait a second. And then I did the math in my head, and I said, I think that's $100 million a day. And I wrote it out like in long division because I didn't want to screw it up. And sure enough, it is $100 million a day. And they're talking about that. And DeLeo kind of let the cat out of the bag on Monday and said they're still thinking about more tax increases. And this is on top of the referendum question that in all likelihood is going to be on the ballot in November, which would set up a graduated income tax in Massachusetts.
Can we start calling it the Howie Carr tax?
No, you can't call it the Howie Carr. You know what you can call it? You can call it the Howie Carr moves to Palm Beach tax, or the Howie Carr moves to New Hampshire tax. I'm not sticking around, and it's not because I am a high earner. I will admit that, but I've said this over and over again. I said in my column today. If you think that this graduated income tax going from 5%, a little over 5% to 9%, they say, oh, it's only for millionaires. If you really believe that, I've got a bridge I would like to sell you in the so-called Southern District of New York, which is Brooklyn. Okay?
I'm kind of pulling for the graduated income tax, though, just because it would piss you off. And I probably wouldn't have to pay it. You know, they won't get down to my level for at least like 4 years, maybe. No. I'd say they're going to get to your level by 2021. Here's what's going to happen. It's the darndest thing. How could we ever have seen this coming? There used to be
5,000 millionaires in Massachusetts. Now we've put in a graduated income tax, and guess what? There's only 2,000 millionaires left in Massachusetts. So to make up the shortfall in income, it's for the children. It's an investment in the future. We're going to have to charge everybody who makes over $40,000 is hereby designated as a millionaire under the tax laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
So when you flee the tax to Palm Beach, Grace and I are going to have to pick up the tab, basically.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. What do they think? 508, are you finally admitting you make over 800 large a year? No, I'm not admitting that.
It's way more than that now.
Please, I'm not admitting that. I'm not. Go ahead, Grace.
I will not be paying any sort of millionaire's tax. I can barely get a parking spot in front of my home. I cannot afford this level of stress anymore.
Grace, I hate to say I told you so.
You know you don't. You say it every single day. This is true. You love, if I've ever met anyone who loves saying I told you so, it's you.
You know, here's the thing. Steve pointed this out when we were talking about this segment. What do you get for $100 million a day in Massachusetts? What are they giving us back for our $100 million a day? How many people live in Massachusetts? About maybe 6 million people. That's like $16 a day they're getting out, and that includes the illegal aliens, and that includes babies. So they're taking all this money out of everybody's pocket every day of the year. And what do we get back for it? Yeah.
I think Maura Healey, hasn't she filed a new lawsuit?
Yeah. Has she sued? It's Wednesday. She should have sued Donald Trump at least once this week. How come Judge Alsuck, or whatever his name is, in San Francisco, how come he had to stop the DACA end of the Dreamers handouts? Why didn't she file a lawsuit? Maybe she already has, and I just missed it. 863, someone in Massachusetts needs to remotely implant a small piece of metal in DeLeo's head. Doing so will stop his criminal activities, and the people of Massachusetts will always know where his location is. I think we need some kind of like a dog collar. You know, when you have a dog collar, and if they go beyond the certain, if they like try to run out into the road, they get a shock, so they can't run out and get run over by a car. That's what we need. Whenever he starts thinking about increasing taxes, the dog collar goes off around his neck, and it gives him a shock, and it stops him. Bill, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Bill.
Captain, how are you?
Good.
Hey, I gotta say this. Hi, Howie. Governor Patrick. Wait, don't hang up. I just had to say that. Hey, did you see the guy talking about the wasted money and the taxes and everything? Did you see the 20,000 state workers are getting laid off next month?
What?
Yeah, some guy at MIT invented a shovel that stands up by itself.
I should have seen that one coming. Thank you, Bill. 8-4. Yeah, that'll be the day. 20,000 state employees get laid off. They got rid of all the toll booths, but don't believe they got rid of the toll collectors. Then they had a report come out 6 months after the toll booths were torn down, and the managers were complaining. They said, "What are we going to do with all these toll collectors?" Because they don't even know how to log on to a computer. So what are we going to do with them? I don't know. Give them a shovel. Let's see. Steve, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Howie. Hey, you know what you get for your $100 million a day? You get a warm smile, and knowing that your tax money was redistributed equitably. Does that make you feel good?
That's what. Are you a member of the General Court of Massachusetts, Steve? Telling me about the equitable redistribution?
No.
What, are you next going to tell me that the money from the millionaire's tax is going to be earmarked for roads and education, so you don't have to worry about it being squandered on, pensions for members of the Bulger family who retired at age 50 with full pensions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to infrastructure getting built, because we're going to need good roads and bridges so people can leave the state faster because the taxes are too high.
They have no idea how many people are going to leave the state. It's happened in all these other states, and all up and down. It's not like these states are far away. It happens in Connecticut. It happened in New Jersey. It happened in Maryland. All these states, and where are they moving to? Another state on the eastern seaboard, the Sunshine State, the state I plan to move to. And guess what the state income tax, let's see. Okay, the state income, the tax rate's going up to 9% here for all you millionaires. All of us are millionaires. 9%? Or Florida, 0%. Massachusetts, 9%. New Hampshire, 0%. Where do I want to live? Massachusetts, New Hampshire, or Florida? 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
This half hour of the Howie Carr Show is powered by Life Change Tea. Food today is full of chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides. Cleanse your body of these nasty chemicals with Life Change Tea. You'll feel better and your immune system will be stronger. Go to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com.
Howie Carr.
Here's something interesting. Studies show that security systems deter burglars. It's a fact. But there is still a burglary every 8 seconds in the U.S. How? Well, think about it. Do burglars give up just because some houses have security systems? No, of course not. They just go on to the next house. They find a house that isn't protected. That's why securing your home is truly a necessity. So let me recommend this brilliant security system built by my buddies at Simply Safe. Simply Safe is ridiculously smart, and its sensors will protect every point of access to your home. Plus, if a burglar as much as tries to break in, an ear-shattering siren will let him know that the police are already on their way. Best of all, Simply Safe's 24/7 monitoring is just $14.99 a month, and they'll never lock you into a long-term contract. With Simply Safe, you'll even get a 60-day money-back guarantee, so there's no reason not to try it today. Go with the only home security I trust, Simply Safe, by going to simplysafehowie.com. For the home security I trust, go to simplysafehowie.com. That's simplysafehowie.com.
And now Grace gets to know Howie a little better.
Was there ever a moment where you really thought Whitey Bulger was going to kill you?
I never really knew whether he was going to kill me or not, but sometimes I would, in the winter, I would hear branches of trees going up against the windows in my house, and I would become very worried about that.
Why did your parents decide to give you the middle name Lawrence?
My middle name is not Lawrence, it's Lewis. DB gave me the middle name Lawrence because he figured it was somehow more Yankee, I guess. So it's kind of stuck, but my middle name is really Lewis, Louis.
If you were in radio and could have any other job, what's your dream job?
In a dream world, I'd be a billionaire, retired in Palm Beach, retired since the age of 20.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave Moisture Control Units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace, learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org. Because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council. When you went car shopping, you meant business. You ace vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org. Because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Chris in Rochester, Mass.
This is Mark in Nashville, New Hampshire.
This is Lorna in Truckstown, Pennsylvania. And this is the Howie Carr Show.
Today's poll question is powered by Tax-Free Tees. Does your business need custom apparel? Do what I did. Get your custom t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and apparel at Tax-Free Tees. Visit them online at dowhathowiedid.com. That's dowhathowiedid.com or call 844-900-4848. That's 844-900-4848. Steve, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Are you worried that President Trump is going to cave to the Democrats on immigration reform?
I thought Thomas Homan was a great interview, the acting director of ICE, a couple hours ago. But yes, I'm still worried.
56% share your concern, Howie.
It's just still continues to go down, the number, as people reflect on what the acting ICE director said. 844-500-4242. We're talking about the taxes. Speaker DeLeo, the unindicted co-conspirator, has backed off his non-denial that he would raise taxes this year. He now says it's off the table. He says that, okay? He says it. But again, the graduated income tax will be on the ballot in November, unless the SJC throws it out. They're going to have arguments. Some of the anti-tax groups are trying to get it thrown out, claiming it's a violation of the Constitution. But the SJC, they're hacks. It's going to be on the ballot. Stanley Rosenberg, the now deposed state Senate president, he was trying to get the other referendum question thrown off the ballot, and that would be to cut the state sales tax back to 5%. It used to be 5%, and then Deval Patrick, with the connivance of the legislature, raised it to 6.25% for the children. It's an investment in the future.
Do you think we're going to get a sales tax holiday this year?
I think that's actually part of the question, that cutting the sales tax back to 5%, mandating an annual sales tax holiday in the month of August. We can't afford a sales tax holiday in August. We can't afford it. What we can afford is a 60% pay raise for the legislature, and we'll attach it to 4 pay raises for the judges in 2 years so that it can't be repealed by the voters. Oh, okay. All right. Somebody says, ran into a Solon at a local eatery. This is 781. We reminded him of the raise he just got from the taxpayers. He immediately gave us the net increase, attempting to minimize the amount. 5 of us said in unison, "We'll take it." He couldn't get out of the door fast enough, I'll bet. Tom, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Tom.
Howie.
Yes.
They're going to raise it. They're going to wait till next year, because when all the money from the pot comes in, they figure everybody be high enough. They won't even realize you're getting banged again.
Yeah, you're right. Did you see Governor Baker yesterday? The U.S. attorney, the new U.S. attorney for Boston, said, "I'm going to have to enforce the federal laws on pot." And Governor Baker said, "Why don't you just work on opioids rather than on pot?"
And, I think you could say the same thing to Governor Baker. Why don't you work on opioids, Governor? Why don't you make it harder for the illegal alien Dominican fentanyl dealers to get driver's licenses at the Registry of Motor Vehicles? Because he's done nothing about it all the time he's been governor.
In 2 months, Baker will be like Vinnie Pirro and say, I'll give that money back. I'll take that back.
It was Vinnie Pirro. This guy's from Somerville. Vinnie Pirro used to be my state rep. He took $25,000 from an FBI agent undercover, and then he found out the guy was an FBI agent, and he gave the money back. There's only one problem, Steve. They'd marked the bills. He gave back different bills. It was a fantasy. I don't know what happened. It was a fantasy. That was a great trial. There are two trials. He first one was a hung jury, and then he beat the rap. My state representative, Jack. You're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Howie. I've already got the retirement home purchased in New Hampshire last week. I was at the Breakers in West Palm Beach for 2 days, then over to Naples via Alligator Alley for 3 days. I'm selling the house in Massachusetts, and I'm going down to Florida in the winter.
How dare you, Jack? The illegal aliens are counting on you for their retirement.
I'm so unpatriotic. I don't want to pay tax. What can I say? I'm a traitor.
I know. That's what they think. They keep saying they're not going to move out of here. I don't care if they moved out of New Jersey. I don't care if they moved out of Maryland. They won't move out of Massachusetts. You know what I say, Jack? Watch us. Watch us leave.
Yeah. Well,
right?
Hey, Howie, as you always say, the millionaire's tax is pretty soon going to be paid by high school janitors making $60,000 a year.
Exactly. And like Tom said, though, that people are going to be too stoned. That's what they're counting on, Is it a coincidence the year they legalize recreational marijuana is the year they put the graduated income tax back on the ballot for the sixth time? Sixth time.
I think of it the other way, though. The stoners, they've never had to pay taxes on weed. When the taxes start applying to recreational weed, then they're going to become like anti-tax advocates. They're all going to be a bunch of stoned Grover Norquists.
Well, remember they passed the referendum and they said they were going to have like a 12% tax on pot. And then as soon as the tax was as soon as the referendum question passed, didn't they jack up the tax to like 20% or 25%? They had just about doubled, and all the stoners are going, dude, man, like what's in this world coming to when you can't trust legislators on Beacon Hill, man? This has never happened before, dude. Totally bummer. I'm Howie Carr.
Are you looking for a pre-owned car? Well, before you go to the dealership where you'll be pounced on by pushy salespeople, give the Car Guys a try. I'm Bill Papageorge, and my job is to make finding the perfect used car as easy as possible. That means I do all of the tough legwork for you. Once I figure out what you want out of a car, I go find it. I've been in this business for a long time, and I know what to look out for. I won't bring you a car unless I know it will meet or exceed your expectations. So give me a call at 800-300-4600. That is 800-300-4600.
In Elizabeth Warren's new year, taxpayers pay more for bloated government. Criminal illegal immigrants get to stay, and our borders remain unsecure. Let's have new leadership for the new year. Jeff Deal has a proven record of saving money for Massachusetts taxpayers. Jeff Deal is the only candidate who has fought against sanctuary cities, and he supports building the wall. It's time for the real deal for Massachusetts.
I'm Jeff Deal, and I approve this message.
Paid for and authorized by Deal for U.S. Senate.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
So you're giving up? Just like that?
Giving up on what?
On getting an inheritance from a distant relative.
Don't you think if there were a billionaire in the family, we'd know about it by now?
Listen to me. We are one phone call away from riding horses on our own private polo grounds. One call from christening yachts, having a butler, using summer as a verb.
How do you figure?
Look, everyone's got a rich uncle somewhere. It's statistics. So the best thing you can do is just prepare for the inevitable.
Right, which is why I thought maybe it would be smart to take control of my finances. You know, start using a budget, get out of debt, set some retirement goals.
Budgets? Debt? You watch your mouth. Retirement shouldn't be a goal for us. It should be a way of life.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
And now, 6 fun facts in 60 seconds with Grace Curley.
If your dog's feet smell like corn chips, you're not alone. The term Frito feet was coined to describe the scent. Ew. Officials in Portland, Oregon drained 8 million gallons of water from a reservoir in 2012 because a drunk 21-year-old peed in it. Also ew. There's a basketball court above the Supreme Court. It's known as the highest court in the land. If you start counting at 1 and spell out the numbers as you go, you won't use the letter A until you reach 1,000. Wendy's founder Dave Thomas dropped out of high school but picked up his GED in 1993. His GED class voted him most likely to succeed. William McKinley was on the $500 bill, Grover Cleveland was on the $1,000 bill, and James Madison was on the $5,000 bill.
This has been 6 fun facts with Grace Curley in 60 seconds. Check out Grace's latest posts, pictures, and tweets at HowieCarrShow.com.
Hey guys, it's Grace from the Howie Carr Show. Gifts are always great, but who really needs more stuff? Let's be honest, between Christmas and the New Year, it's hard to come up with a nice way to give a great gift without just regifting that old fruitcake. But luckily, we have the perfect gift idea for you. It's the Howie Carr Show VIP experience. If someone you know is a fan of Howard Lauren's car, then this is the perfect way to celebrate any occasion. Come visit Howie in our brand new studio and watch the entire show. Best part? Well, if you were to ask Howie, he'd probably say the Kowloon. And I can't really disagree. But there is also no other way to see all the behind-the-scenes work that goes into New England's favorite radio show. Get your picture with Howie and a selfie with yours truly. We've had over 100 people enjoy the VIP experience, and the reviews have been stellar. We've even had the occasional guest on air to tell their own funny story to the listeners. So don't delay and buy your VIP experience today at HowieCarrShow.com. Click store. HowieCarrShow.com. Click store.
And now Grace gets to know Howie a little better.
Was there ever a moment where you really thought Whitey Bulger was going to kill you?
I never really knew whether he was going to kill me or not, but sometimes I would, in the winter, I would hear branches of trees going up against the windows in my house, and I would become very worried about that.
Why did your parents decide to give you the middle name Lawrence?
My middle name is not Lawrence, it's Lewis. DB gave me the middle name Lawrence because he figured it was somehow more Yankee, I guess. So it's kind of stuck, but my middle name is really Lewis, Louis.
If you were in radio and could have any other job, what's your dream job?
In a dream world, I'd be a billionaire, retired in Palm Beach, retired since the age of 20.
Celebrating 25 years on the air, this is the Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. Bill Papa George from the Car Guys is with us tonight to answer your car questions. If you have a light on your dash that is on, or if you've been having car problems, call in and Bill Papa George can answer your car questions. 844-500-4242. So last week was extremely cold. A lot of people had issues with their car, and they may be thinking it's time to get a new car, and Bill can help. And right now, remind my listeners, what is it exactly that you do, Bill?
So what we do, Howie, is we get together with our customers, get a list of criteria for what they're looking for, and if they're not sure about what they're looking for, we try to help them through that. Trying to figure out what their needs are for an automobile. So, some people need a station wagon or a pickup truck or SUV or sedan, and, for different reasons.
And so what you do is you take the specifications they want, how much money they got, what kind of car or vehicle they want, and then you go down to this big auction, the big car auction place in Pennsylvania, and
Right.
And basically get them what they want.
Right, exactly. But before we do that, we make sure, like, if they need financing, we try to get that in place so that we've got a pre-approval in place so that we can get them the financing that they need. And also, we try to make sure that we know exactly all the parameters of what they're looking for, so that, in terms of the money and everything else.
And again, buying a used car is often a crapshoot, and you try to make sure that people don't get ripped off. You have ways of checking to make sure this is not a car coming up from a hurricane-ravaged area that may have been underwater.
Oh, positively. There's there's 5 inspections now that we put the car through. So the first one's to make sure that it's never had any flood damage. Or any kind of water damage. And then the second one is a very, very detailed condition report that we get from the sale. And then, of course, after that, we actually get a post-sale inspection. So if we purchase a car for somebody, then we find out that everything is A-OK before we leave. And then if it's not, we can give the car back then. If we get it back and find out that there's a problem within 14 days of the time that we purchase the vehicle, we could actually give it back as well. So it works out good. And our inspection is the last final inspection that we do, and we check everything and we service it to a T.
So if you want to call Bill Papa, you can call us right now at 844-500-4242. And if you want to call Bill Papa George, you can call him at 800-300-4600, 800-300-4600. And he'll, if you just need the car worked on, he can give you some advice, or let you give you some tips, or maybe give you a phone number or something where to go, someone you can trust for a mechanic. And again, I have this. I've asked you about this before, but it happened again. In that cold spell.
Sure.
I was driving the mailroom manager's car because she's in Florida, so I was using her car. And
don't tell her.
So I know I won't. I won't. So it was really cold. So I start the car, and there's one little light on the tire.
No.
And it needs air. It needs air. So then I drive it. So then it drives, and the car is getting colder and colder because I'm driving it around. And so I go into a store and I come out, and now 3 tires on the car supposedly need air. And again, it's just it drives me nuts because I know it's just it's just a technical thing, isn't it?
Tire pressure monitor. It's a tough one. Yep. And now they do the spare tire too. So you could actually be driving around and then the spare tire starts to give you a hard time. So you've got to actually put air in the spare.
It's so exasperating. It's almost like I would like to just figure out some way to disconnect.
I know
the air monitor.
You can't do it.
You can't disconnect the air monitor?
No.
All right.
Just take a little picture of your daughter and put it and tape it in front of the light so you don't have to look at it.
That's what you have to do. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? When you think about it.
844-500-4242. We're going to take some calls from people. If you need any, if you have any questions about your car and what needs to be done, give us a call. And if you want to call Bill off air, you can call him at 800-300-4600. Al, you're next with Howie Carr and Bill Papa George from the Car Guys. Go ahead, Al.
Oh, hi, guys. This is such perfect timing. You wouldn't believe it. I have a Ford 2013 Ford Econoline van E250.
Okay.
My blower fan is not working on the heater.
Okay.
It literally just started 2 days ago. I go to see the guy at the auto parts place. He tells me it's a resistor. But
it probably is.
If I tap the motor itself with a screwdriver, it actually starts to run. It runs, for a little while and then stops again.
Sounds like it could be a connection. It could be a connection, Al. You might want.
I checked them all.
You did.
Yeah. I tap it with a screwdriver, just a light tap, boom, it goes on. Lasts maybe 45 minutes out to work vehicle. Lasts maybe 45 minutes, an hour, and then it stops again.
The only thing that I'm thinking is, inside that blower motor, there could be a connection that's actually soldered, and it could be that the solder itself broke, or the little the connection itself broke, and it's making a connection when it's touching it, but when it stops touching it for a second, it just stops, and that could be what it is. You may have to take the blower motor out, take it apart, and check it for that. Unfortunately, is it out of warranty now?
Oh yeah, it's 2013. Yeah.
Oh, it's 13. Okay, I'm sorry, 13. Yeah. The blower motor itself is not a very expensive part, by the way.
So you probably got to have to take it in.
Yeah, you probably
looks
do.
Like it. Thanks, Al. Thanks for the call. 844-500-4242. Ray, you're next with Howie Carr and Bill Papa George. Go ahead, Ray.
Hi, how are we doing, fellas?
Good.
The reason I'm calling, I've got a 2010 Buick LaCrosse, and I have a light that comes on that says service the rear axle.
Wow.
What exactly does that mean?
That's a good question. You got me on that one. I've never seen that come on in an automobile.
I never have either.
So, and it's been doing it now for a couple of weeks.
Well, it could be this. Sometimes there are speed sensors, and maybe that's what it's referring to, because a speed sensor would be part of your ABS system, and it would be also part, which is the anti-lock brake system, and it's also part of. Let's see. I would call it, in your car, it would be like a, I'm trying to think of the name of it now.
You're having a senior moment like I did last hour.
Yeah, that's okay.
A lot of those going around.
Yeah,
I mean, I would think you just check the owner's manual.
It's kind of like the light. It's kind of like the light coming on. You know, the light comes on. Only it's just the light goes off.
Yeah.
In your head.
It's an electronic control module. That gives you that signal. So what happens is when you get that signal, your ABS is concerned, and also it's going to be your stability control, or sometimes they call it that stability control.
You can't really screw around though if you have a light saying the rear axle is screwing up, because if the rear axle goes and you're on the road, I mean that's the end of you.
I guarantee it's got to be something that's just a sensor. Yeah. I'm almost positive. But if you want to call me off air later on tonight or tomorrow morning or whatever, I'll be more than happy to check on it for you.
We got 617. Please ask Bill, the remote key FOB receiver on my car stopped working when the cold spell began. What's he going to do? What should he do?
Put a battery in it, maybe.
You think that's it?
Could be, yeah. Yeah, that would be the first thing I would check.
Okay.
So for the remote starter, sometimes it could be some connection at the starter also, but typically, it's just the battery for the remote.
All right, 844-500-4242. If you got a question about your car, give us a call. We're with Bill Papa George. If you want to call him off air, he's taking calls during the break, I guess. 800-300-4600. 800-300-4600. I'm Howie Carr. This half hour of the Howie Carr Show is powered by Casper Mattress. You're going to need to be well rested to achieve your 2018 goals, and a Casper mattress can help you get a great night's sleep. Try one yourself for 100 nights risk-free. Go to Casper.com and use code Howie to save $50 on the purchase of select mattresses. Terms and conditions apply.
Howie Carr.
There's been a whole lot of talk these days about fake news, as if it's some brand new invention. Well, listen up, sister. For 164 years, we here at Matthews Brothers have been in the window business, an industry some argue gave birth to fake news. So we've been dealing with this stuff since Abe Lincoln was wearing short pants. Lately, we've been hearing a whole lot of fake news about this amazing new window material called fiberglass, reporting on how much stronger and more durable it is when compared to vinyl. It's enough to scare you silly. The real news is, even though fiberglass and vinyl have been used for making residential windows for nearly the same amount of time, architects, builders, and homeowners have overwhelmingly chosen vinyl over fiberglass by a factor of 14 to 1. So you have to wonder, what is it about vinyl that makes it so popular? Why does vinyl have 71% market share and fiberglass only 6%? Could it be there's something about those fiberglass windows they're not telling us? Would that qualify as fake news? You can learn the real news about our wicked awesome Maine-made windows, but only at Better Lumberyards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with 1 T. America's oldest window manufacturer.
And now, Rambling Ronnie from Worcester.
Nothing wrong with your laugh, Grace. Don't let them get you thinking wrong. Nothing wrong with that at all. Very, very, very nice, cute laugh. I got a good laugh, but it's got to be natural. You just can't, I can imitate many. There was this old lady at the bar. She'd start, that wasn't even close. She'd start and the whole place would just break up. Doris from Worcester. Former nurse, married to a mailman. Howie used to carry the real Sears catalogs up the hills of Worcester. Never had any children, the two of them, Doris and Ed, Itchy Ed. Back in the 80s, he taught me a very good term. He used to say, "I'm glad I'm on my way out, Ronnie." I said, "I hear you, Ed." and Doris would go,
We could play another commercial, or we could play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
And I don't want this evening without saying something nice about my opponent. Hillary's been in Washington a long time. She knows a lot about how government works. And according to her sworn testimony, Hillary has forgotten more things than most of us will ever know. That I can tell you. Now, if some of you haven't noticed, Hillary isn't laughing as much as the rest of us. That's because she knows the jokes. And all of the jokes were given to her in advance of the dinner by Donna Brazile. Here she is tonight in public, pretending not to hate Catholics.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Listen, my life changed because someone was there to get me to use drugs. No one can understand. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to think that having someone who will listen is gonna help make it better. I'm realizing that I need help.
I'm listening.
I need help. I'm realizing that I think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to understand. No one can get me to use drugs. My life changed because someone was there to listen.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is Jeff in Woodstock, Connecticut.
This is Laura Benner in South Burlington, Vermont.
This is Jimmy Mack in Falmouth, Massachusetts, and this is The Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Bill Papa George from the Car Guys is with us tonight to answer your car questions, and give us a call at 844-500-4242. And if you want to call him off air, it's 800-300-4600. And what he does is if you call him and you give him the specifications of what you want in a car, a pre-owned, I won't say used, I'll say pre-owned car. He goes down to Pennsylvania, gets the auction, and how much money you can spend, and what kind of car you want, et cetera, even what color you want, right?
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
So he can do that, and you can call him off air at 800-300-4600. Somebody says those bleeping tire monitors, this is from 256, are yet another thing you can thank Barack Hussein Obama for. He was saying in 2008 we can save millions of gallons of gas just by having properly inflated tires. I think that probably predates Obama, though, doesn't it?
No, I don't think so. Really? I think that was during his time. Yep.
Well, then that guy's right. It is another reason to really dislike him.
Or let me put it this way: he mandated it afterwards.
Oh, okay.
If it was before him, he mandated it.
Because now that I think about it, I don't remember seeing those things come on, say, during the blizzard of '78.
Right. No, they weren't.
No,
we didn't have them back then.
No, we didn't. We didn't have them back in like the big storms in '95 or thereabouts either.
Thanks, Obama.
Well, it's just one more thing to thank him for. This is one of the more minor headaches he's given the American people.
Yeah.
Can you ask Bill? This is from 860. What the letter N on the valve cap means on a 2016 Buick?
Sure.
What does it mean?
It means that it's got nitrogen in the tires,
which is what you told me I should put in my tires so that I could get away. Again, Barack, nitrogen costs more than air, so in other words, that's another tax from Obama.
There you go. Basically, if you want to get technical, but we should probably do that to your car now that I'm thinking about it.
Put nitrogen in the tires?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to do that next time I service it.
All right. Greg, you're next with Howie Carr and Bill Papa George from the Car Guys. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, guys. This might be another one to thank Al Gore and Obama for. I have a 2011 Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah.
My sticker was up in December, and I took it for an oil change 2 weeks before, or a week before the end of the year, and my light came on, and he said I needed a new catalytic converter, which was a $1,500 job.
Oh, boy.
Someone mentioned that I may be able to put something in the gas that'll flush it.
Yes. You can put a, in order to get a sticker, anyways, this may help you. Are you a Massachusetts person?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is what you do. You go down to your local parts store, and you buy a bottle of what they call Cataclean. And basically what it does is it cleans up the converter on the inside. You're going to put it in, I think they say that you have to have like 3/4 of a tank of gas. You put it in with that, and then you run the car until it basically runs out. And then
what are the odds that works?
Pretty good. It might not last that long, but once that light's out,
all he's got to do is get the inspection sticker.
Now that the light's out, I mean, here's the thing: when the light's on, you're going to have to shut it off with a machine. Okay, so you can go anywhere. You can go to AutoZone; they'll do that for you. You know, they're just going to hook up the OBD machine, the onboard diagnostics, and they'll just cancel it out. Now, once that light goes out, you have to drive the car 5 drive cycles, okay? So probably maybe up to about 150 miles. You got to go at least maybe 20 miles of it's got to be over 50 miles an hour, but not too much over, like 55, 60 miles an hour. And then once you've done that driving, it will reset the monitors in the car so that you'll be able to go get a sticker.
Okay, thanks, Greg. That's a lot of work, but it's better than spending $1,500.
Right. If that doesn't work, call me and I'll give you another idea.
Okay. And Bill Papa George's number is 800-300-4600. Thanks for the call, Greg. Peter, you're next with Howie Carr and Bill Papa George. Go ahead, Peter.
Oh, hey, greetings, gentlemen. I'm getting ready to retire, and George, this is perfect time. I'm looking for a convertible. I was thinking about a Ford Thunderbird, one of those 05 anniversary editions.
Sure.
Something big enough to hold golf clubs.
Okay.
I was wondering what you think about them, or if you have another recommendation.
Oh, I'll have a dozen of them, I'm sure. If you want to get a hold of me, after the show, or leave your number, we'll be more than happy to give you a call back, and I can go over the T-Bird's a great car, but there's lots of other cars that would be great convertibles to have.
This is probably a good time of the year to buy a convertible, isn't it? Given the weather. Because there's not a real lot of demand.
Right, exactly.
for convertibles.
Yeah, it's even cold in Florida last week, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Right, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so you can call Bill off air, 800-300-4600. Pete, you're next with Howie Carr and Bill Papa George. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, I got a 2008 Toyota Tundra, and I keep getting the code 2757. So I look it up, and it says it's the solenoid inside of the transmission.
Yep.
And so all the lights come on the dash, and so I got one of the little gauges I hook up to the computer, and I wipe it out, and a couple of weeks later it all comes back on again. Am I doing any damage to this vehicle doing that?
Well, if the solenoid's not working properly, then what's happening is your shifting is probably not exactly where it should be. Can you tell the difference when you're driving it?
No.
No. Okay. Then maybe not. But I would think that it would eventually do some damage, because I want to think that it's either opening or closing a valve that needs to be, allowing fluid to pass through.
Okay. So to fix that, do they have to pull the transmission?
I'm not positive on a 2008 Tundra, but I could look it up after I get out of off the show, and let you know if that was an internal one or an external one. I'm not sure.
Thanks for the call, Pete. Ask Bill if those nitrogen-filled tires must be filled with nitrogen once you do it, or can you blow them up later with an air? Can you just add air again?
You can't.
So you got to make the once you make the switch, you got to stick with the nitrogen.
But you won't have to change it, because it doesn't really it doesn't move around. So in other words, like when you have air in a tire and the air is the temperature outside gets cold, and all of a sudden the air condenses, so it pops the light on. You're not going to have that problem anymore once you fill it up with nitrogen.
All right. So some guy says he has a 2006 Solara, and he has the tire light, so it predates. He says it predates Obama.
Ever see any nice GTRs in those auctions? I've always wanted one, says 978.
Yeah, we see them all the time.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see here. Kathleen, you're next with Howie Carr and Bill Papa George. Go ahead, Kathleen.
Hello. First, the senior moments, they're actually not senior moments. Everybody gets them. But I have a 2011
Thank you for
Honda,
saying that.
yes, a 2011 Honda Civic, 63,000 miles. I don't drive it a lot. I have it used. I just had it the past year. But I'm driving on the highway, and the steering wheel, and this is serious, and it's only for a second, I lose steering, and it sort of skips, and it's went to about a second and a half that I actually lose control. There's a lot of play in the steering wheel, like I have no control.
Kathleen, hold on. He's going to take your call off air. Everybody else, hang on, and Bill will get back to you. He's going to hang on, and he'll get your number and talk to you. If you want to talk to Bill Papa George, the number is 800-300-4600. 800-300-4600. Howie Carr here. Have you looked in the mirror lately? When you see your smile, what do you think? If you're like most people, you probably wish you had whiter teeth or teeth that weren't crooked. And then you think,